gentlemen.
Wow. It's me. It's you. I haven't crunched my hair out. It's like dry from when I showered earlier, but this is just from like putting product in my hair. Moose. Moose. That's the answer to any question that you have today. The answer today to every question is moose. Anyway, hi. How's everybody? It's fucking Wednesday, my dudes. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Hello to the folks hanging out in the YouTube chat. We got SK Plays, we got Dally, we got Matt Inc. Hello, Ms. Bunny Business, and then M and Talk Too Easy. Hello, and hello to the website chat. If y'all didn't know, this chat over here, hi, this over here is not Twitch. I do not stream to Twitch. This is my website chat, luxander.net/live. Come over here if you want to hang out and get the cool custom emojis and what the fuck ever we do over here. Anyway, exactly, moose, exactly. You get it, you get it. A moose once bit my sister. That sounds terrible. That sounds like a really bad moment, to be completely honest. Hello, M. Long time no see. Yeah, I haven't seen you in chat in a while. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Hello, Evan. Hello, Drea. Hello, Viren. Viren might... Okay, so this is an interesting thing that happens. Sometimes if I take something that's on Amazon Prime and I put it on my Throne wish list, like, so the thing is, if you buy something off of the wish list, it doesn't use Prime shipping. So you bought me a calculator last week and it maybe will be here tomorrow. I don't know. But I was so confused. I was like, wait, it was supposed to be like overnight Prime shipping. Like, nope. Doesn't work that way when you buy it on the wish list. So I'm very excited to get my graphing calculator tomorrow. I'm starting classes, I think it's next week. I'd have to double check my calendar, but I'm pretty sure it's next week. So I'm prepared to be an insanely busy person for a little bit. So that's exciting. Hey, it's Pillow says, I'm excited for Takis tomorrow. Mephi is awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't done a show with Mephi before, so it's going to be cool to see what that dynamic is like. I used to be Neurodivergent Netizen on YouTube. Okay, Neurodivergent Netizen. I cannot remember. I'm sure I've seen that name before. Oh my god, excuse me. Ah! Just finished week 2 of my class. Hell yes! What's up, Zach? YouTuber Grudge, if I didn't already say hi to you. No, I did. I think I already did say hi to you. I can't remember. Whatever. Say hi again. It seems weird that Throne wouldn't connect to Prime. Shruggy, at least there's not the weird issue of Throne, like, divulging your fucking address to people. That's a problem. But anyway, so, yeah. Somebody asked me to put my Throne wish list on my website links, and I haven't done it yet. But it's, like, literally just throne.com/Luxander. Oh, you're like, oh, where do I find Luxander on Patreon? Patreon.com/Luxander. Where do I find Luxander's Throne wish list? Throne.com/Luxander. Guess what? I try my best to keep it homogenous. I did not, there's some platforms where it's at Luxander Real or something like that, but I don't know. I tried to, anything that I actually use, I try to be relatively homogenous with my naming conventions. Oh no! The past 2 weeks have probably been one of the longest months of their lives. Oh god, because you're teaching physics, right? This is so fun. I'm about to start taking math classes. I'm doing pre-calculus. Functions and trig and whatever to get into differential calculus in a few months. But Viren has been teaching a physics class. So it's kind of fun being able to see both ends of that, where I'm going to be a math student. And honestly, okay, I'll get to that in a second. But it's just like seeing it from the other perspective of like, here's what it's like to try to teach a class. And some of the shortfalls that Byron has been talking about in our Discord server. We have our Discord server. Y'all are welcome to come hang out. It's like a little bit slow, but I think that's nice. It still feels like a little comfy, small community. So we've got our Discord, and Byron was saying that like, he was like, how do I grade these papers? And should I grade them harshly? Because there's certain things that are missing. Like, there's not what did you say? There wasn't a label on the chart. There wasn't like a title for the chart that one of your students had presented, or maybe even several had presented. And Byron was kind of like, oh, like, should I dock points for that? And then rereading the outline that you gave your students of like, here's what I expect. You need to do this, 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 and this in your report. And that's one of the things that you put in there was like, your charts all need to be like neat and well labeled. Like there needs to be a title on it or whatever. So I feel like I'm going to be a million miles ahead, especially an 18-year-old. Okay. I'm 32. I'm about to start college for something that people who are 18 start college for sometimes. I'm going for electrical engineering. And that my perfectionism and my like, I have a difficult time doing things half-ass, even if half-ass is good enough in most situations. So I just feel like I'm going to be miles ahead of anybody else in my classes because I am able to fucking read. It's one of the main differences. But I do think that maybe there might be like a harsh awakening. I see someone just mentioned in chat, I'm completing my electrical degree associates in December. That's very exciting. I did an electrical technology certificate program, a technical degree, or a technical certificate, where I was a full-time student. And hi, Gayfesh. Hello. I'm so excited to watch Star Trek later tonight. I genuinely was like, after therapy tonight, I kind of want to go just chill on my couch and do nothing. But I'm going to be responsible and attend to my friend situations and hang out with my friends and do that. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to watch Star Trek tonight. So when I went to technical school, I was a full-time student, but the program, I think, was kind of designed for idiots to be able to get through it, right? So I keep seeing things that are like, you should expect that you'll have to spend like between 9 and 12 hours outside of class time studying for maybe even for each class every week. And there is a very, very much like maybe in denial part that I have, or like I'm just built different. I think I'm just built different, that I'm just not going to have to study for 9 hours per week per class. Like I do on some level. I'm just like, that seems crazy. I'm not going to have to do that. But I never studied as a high school student. And I did really well. So that's what I'm saying is like maybe, I don't know. I just have this feeling like I'm going to absolutely fucking crush it at college, and that I'm not going to have zero time and I'm not going to be super overwhelmed, that it's going to be pretty easy for me to get good grades because I was always just like really good at being a student. And that kind of tricked me when I was doing, one second, when I was doing my electrical technology certificate, fuck. Oh, I was really good at all the school stuff. Like I was like, this is easy. And I was tricked by that because it made me think that I was going to be good at being an electrician. Very different situation. Like doing this stuff in a controlled, air-conditioned environment, like in a beautiful facility that had just been finished and just expanded at that college that I went to. Yeah, just I'm wondering if maybe all of my previous experience with school has just set me up for like an extremely rude awakening. We'll find out. I'm taking a writing class, I'm taking a math class, and a co-rec, like a co-requisite. I'm basically taking like 4 days a week. I have to physically be in a classroom for math. Like, so I'm like, well, we're doing pre-calculus, but I'm doing like pre-calculus and additional study time. And then I'm taking an art class just to tick boxes on my requirements and stuff. So yeah, we'll find out. Like, technically I'm in 3 classes, but the co-requisite is technically a 4th class. So I'm just like straight diving into being a full-time student. And yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out whether it's going to be problems. Billy Sipes, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, right out the gate. We just started. We're getting a $50 donation from Billy. Thank you so much. What Star Trek is being watched this evening? Well, I have a podcast. Thank you so much. I'm going to add that to the total amount right now. But I have a podcast where my friend Gayfesh in the chat has a podcast that he invited me and Demon Mama to be on it. And so that's like the 3 of us. It's our podcast. Gayfesh is like the main host, and then we're the co-hosts. And we've been watching we usually do it in like chunks of like a season. You know, we did a Rob Reiner season recently where we watched like 8 different movies directed by Rob Reiner. And now we just did some Star Trek stuff. We've done Star Trek stuff in the past, and we're kind of like finishing all the Star Trek movies that exist. We did the TNG movies, we did the original series movies, then we did the Star Trek 2009 movies, and then we're going to wrap it up by watching Section 31, which I don't really know anything about. So for the podcast, we're watching the movie Section 31. Usually, when we watch an episode of something in the group chat thing that we have, we watch like several episodes of Star Trek. And it's like usually a theme or something. So when we were watching Starfleet Academy together each week as it was coming out, we would watch like, oh, here's a few episodes of older Trek that are like related to this episode. So my best guess is that we're going to watch like several different episodes from Deep Space Nine, probably mostly Deep Space Nine, about Section 31. And then we're going to watch the Section 31 movie together in anticipation of recording our podcast episode next week. So that's kind of what we have going on right now. So yeah, and by doing this, I have now watched random episodes from Star Trek series that I haven't watched. I'm usually one of those kind of insane, you have to watch them all, like I have to watch everything in chronological order and like all at the same time. Like I'm going to just watch an entire show, right? Rather than just watching individual episodes. But I kind of like this where it's like random episodes of Voyager and Deep Space Nine that I've never seen before and just getting to kind of see them out of context. But like I know enough about the show to be able to be like, oh, okay, I get this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like I know enough about the universe. So that's been pretty fun. And I'm excited to continue on that journey. Didn't Rob Reiner do When Harry Met Sally? Yes. So if you guys are interested, we did an episode on the Gayfesh YouTube channel, Gayfesh, Gayfesh. The Many Worlds Hypothesis is the name of the podcast, but it's on the Gayfesh YouTube channel. And yeah, we did an episode of When Harry Met Sally. I had never seen the movie before too, so that was kind of another great thing. That so often I have not seen a lot of classic films, like a lot of really, popular, amazing, foundational films. I'm just like, I've watched more movies than I think, because I was talking to my friend Milena about horror movies, and she was like, let's try to get you into horror movies. And as we were talking about it, I was like, well, I've seen this horror movie and I've seen that. And then I kind of realized like, oh shit, I've actually seen a lot of different horror movies, but that's because that's what people I was growing up around were watching. So anyway, Starfleet Academy is out. Yeah. Starfleet Academy ended a couple months ago, the first season. And then they're greenlit for a second season of Starfleet Academy, but then they're canceling it, which is such a fucking bummer because I actually really liked it. I like it enough that I'm bummed out that I don't have Paramount, that I can't watch it again, Like I would go back and watch that whole season again over because it was just really, I just thought it was really good. But yeah, we had When Harry Met Sally. We did Princess Bride, which I've seen a million times, but it was kind of fun watching it from that perspective of like, let's try to do a film critic moment here. Let's try to talk about the themes and whatever. Maybe we didn't succeed at that, but I don't know. I really like it. I like movies and talking about media and stuff. So yeah, some people keep requesting we watch 1968's Planet of the Apes, which I think could be fun. Oh, season 2 of SFA was already filmed before season 1 came out. Okay, so basically only because they have the sunk cost of we already filmed season 2, that's the only reason why season 2 isn't getting canceled, I guess. That's fucking annoying. Okay, well, whatever. It's true. I'm sorry. This was from earlier. College is wasted on the fresh out of high schoolers, truly. I'm almost kind of glad that I waited. I would say it's more true for higher level classes that you'll have to spend more time outside of class. Right. I'm in like composition 1. And although I guess, like, to be fair, that's an online class. So all of 100% of the work that I do is going to be outside of class time. So whatever. But like I'm in comp 1. I'm in a creativity class. Like the art class that I'm in is like a creativity, like how to be creative. What is the creative thought process like, which I'm so excited for. And then, yeah, my math classes. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting. And I do think it's going to be very funny when I roll up to class with this book. Because you bet your ass, I'm going to bring Pre-Calculus for Dummies with me to my pre-calculus class. I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. So, anyway. But it is good. I'm like, I like the idea of going to classes because it gives you an opportunity to like talk to people and make friends. But again, everybody in my classes is going to be fucking 18 years old. So I don't know. I feel like the Princess Bride movie, podcast episode, we were just gushing for an hour about a great movie. That's true. And we kind of did the same thing with Spinal Tap, especially Spinal Tap 2. Spinal Tap 1, I was a little bit more like, I didn't really get it. Like, I didn't really find it as funny. Probably because I watched it by myself. It's more funny with a group of people. But then I watched Spinal Tap 2, and I was like, oh my god, this is so fucking funny. Especially having seen first Spinal Tap and like put it into context, and then you watch a bunch of Rob Reiner films, and fucking Christopher Guest is now haunting my dreams. And I see him everywhere. Like, we were watching fucking A Few Good Men, and Christopher Guest was in it, and I was like, pew! Like immediately I was like, that's fucking him. I was like, now I know what his face looks like. It's crazy. Anyway, I don't know. It was like a lot of fun. I like doing the episodes. At least with Spinal Tap 2, that was a new movie to all of us. Princess Bride, we all grew up on. Yeah, right. It's hard to decouple. Like, I watched The Princess Bride at least annually. I would say I watched The Princess Bride at least once a year. And I have since I was an actual toddler. Like when I was a little kid, before I knew how to tie my shoes, like literally a toddler. Literally, guys, literally I was a toddler. Literally. And I would sit on the floor, cross-legged, a little tiny toddler me, and I would do the laugh, the Vizzini's laugh, like ha ha ha, and then I would roll over because when your legs are crossed, you can kind of like roll and like die, quote unquote. Oh my god, I'm like flinging shit around. So it literally, you guys, literally, The Princess Bride has defined my childhood very much like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's like two movies that I fucking grew up watching. So it's hard to disentangle the that experience of like a movie that's been with you your whole life and that you've gotten a different perspective on. Literally, VG archaeologist. You like, I'm doing the uwu baby voice because of what VG archaeologist just put in the YouTube chat. Computer make Lux a toddler, but there's this meme that I didn't know about because I'm not on TikTok ever. But I did a chewed gum with Taylor and Alyssa last night, and Taylor taught us about the meme that goes around right now. Computer make these guys gay and horny. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know. Like, make these guys gay and horny. And you just like point your camera at a group of dudes. And I don't really understand it. But so that's kind of why the baby voice is in my head. Because I was just last night. Thank you, Billy. Oh my God, Billy Sipes. I was in the middle of a thought. I want to make sure I... Thank you so much. Again, another $50 donation. Billy, you said you were in HR recently. I'm really glad that you have a solid and stable job, that you just have the money to just throw. I would love that. That's why I want to be an engineer. I want to be able to throw this kind of money at streamers. That would be amazing. But anyway, Billy says, if you love Rob Reiner and have not watched All in the Family, I would recommend you do. Aside from being funny, it's an excellent satirical take on the average ignorant blue-collared worker's takes on social issues. Rob Reiner is hilarious. Is that a TV show? I've heard of it before. Hold up. Let me look it up. I want to make sure I know what we're talking about. All in the Family. Oh my God, this is so... Like, just the screenshots that I'm seeing on my Google front page, I'm like, oh, this is where the aesthetic came from for Too Many Cooks. I get it. Yeah, okay. In fairness, The Princess Bride might be considered required watching to be considered human. True. True, I agree. Is Rob Reiner in this? Or is he just, like, directing it? American sitcom television series that aired on CBS for 9 seasons from 71 to 79. Whoa! Archie Bunker, a loudmouthed, uneducated bigot who believes in every stereotype he's ever heard, and his wife Edith is sweet but not the sharpest knife in the drawer, according to the overview on YouTube. That's so fun. Oh my God, imagine just watching like a super classic sitcom, like a family sitcom. Did All in the Family kind of start the genre, or was it a defining aspect of the genre? I'm not sure. I've never really seen anything about it before. By the way, I just clicked my light up 1 notch higher, and then I didn't adjust any of my camera settings. So if you can see that I'm I want her paler than the moon, that's me today. So I'm sorry I didn't adjust any of my shit. I just noticed that it was like a little bit grainy because of how low. But I've gotten like a migraine before from sitting in front of my lights, and I don't want them to be too bright. So I'm just kind of adjusting some things. Maybe I do need to kind of tweak that back down, actually. Whoa, yeah, I'm so white. If you didn't know that about me, you sure as fuck do now. What am I looking at? ISO, shutter speed. Okay, that brought it down a little bit. That's a little bit better. Anyway. That's making less of a difference. Fucking with the ISO now. Yeah, it's mostly the shutter speed that's doing it. It's a little bit too dark, probably. I've been noticing, like, whenever I do shows with Jimmy and I look, like, yellow, kind of, and he looks like white. He's paler than the moon. Anyway, that's a little bit better. So we've got like more brightness, but less graininess. You can see my very well moisturized, shiny fucking. But this is the look that girls want now, right? The girls like the slightly shiny face look now. We want to see moisturized. I must have combination skin for my. I put on the lotion all over my face, but it like absorbed into my cheeks and comparatively is just hanging out on my forehead. So that's fun. Anyway, trying to make my natural waves do things, and I'm still learning how to do that, and it's not going well. It's not going well. Look at her. Anyway, okay, we're done. Let's save these settings and get out of the camera program. There we go. Too many cooks, too many cooks, too many cooks, too many cooks, too many cooks. Jimmy Snow shall never melt. True. The biggest community space I was on was like Neopets and some vampire site I used to be on. YouTuber Grudge. Was it Vampire Freaks? Because I was on Vampire Freaks way back in the day. OMG. Definitely true that All in the Family influenced TV since. Okay, so it was like a... Okay. Norman Lear is the producer who created All in the Family. He also created The Jeffersons and a lot of amazing media. Ask Matt Dillahunty about it. His favorite sitcom was the precursor Norman Lear show. Oh, that's so interesting. Fun. Oh, by the way, that was $100 in donations. So let me get the kitty cat. We'll torture her. We'll get that out of the way. We'll do it early. We'll get it out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
She's a baby. And I have her. Hello, baby. Oh, hello. You're so sweet. I know the light is much brighter now. Aren't you the sweetest baby? She's such a bully, dude. And by that I mean she just keeps bothering me until I stop what I'm doing and I beat her up. She's like, ah! That's you. That's what you sound like. That's what you sound like, Mina. That's what you sound like. She goes, ah! Is that so? Is that true? I love you. You're so sweet. I love you so much. Oh, you're so good. Are you a good girl? You're such a good girl. Okay. Thank you. You're so good. I love her so much. Even though you're a jerk. But she truly, like, I couldn't get anything done yesterday. She was like, she kept rubbing up on my legs and stuff when I wasn't paying enough attention to her, and then I'd be like, hey, what are we doing? What are we supposed to do? And then she's like, I want to play. I want to bite you. And I'm like, okay. So I actually picked her up yesterday after my partner got home, and I took her to him. I was like, take this. She just wants to bully me. Take her. Oh my God. Lux is about to get got, Lamau. She's never attacked one of our faces. I do think that she could, especially if your face is like the thing that you're taunting her with or something. But yeah, she's been really good about that. She mostly doesn't like retaliate for stuff. It was mostly that I thought it was funny that I was like making fun of her, or like I meow back at her, obviously. Like I meow at her. For her to just be like, it was really funny to me. Oh my God. And for her to like start meowing. You're so funny, Mina. Mina, I love you. You're a good girl. You're so pretty. You are. That's true. She's a good girl. Oh God. I love cats so much. I mean, I love all animals, but I am definitely a cat guy. That's how I feel, Billy, is like I love all animals, and I probably will have a dog someday. Like I think I'll probably have a dog at some point. But I don't. Here, let's just bump this up. Whatever. Let's do it again. But I just don't love dogs in the same way, right? A lot of the time when I see people's dogs, I'm like, wow, that's cool. I don't want to be involved. Like, I was doing a show with Ari Mermaid recently. Hi, Shakespeare. I was doing a show with Ari Mermaid recently, and she got her dog to, like, put its paws up in her lap. And then it was, like, licking her face. And I was like, oh, no. I hate that, right? But that's like dog behavior, right? And so if you like dogs, you would see a dog licking someone's face and go, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. That's so cute. But that's not how I feel. I go, ew, that's gross, and I don't like it. But then I see a cat, and even if the cat is doing some like asshole thing, I'm like, yeah, but he's perfect the way that he is, right? He's supposed to be like that. Like when you see those videos of like a man and a woman in public, like a girlfriend and boyfriend in public, and they see a neighborhood cat, and the woman gets like petting the neighborhood cat, and then the boyfriend tries to pet it but doesn't do any of the procedure of asking permission that you're supposed to do. And so the cat then like swipes at the boyfriend. And I'm like, exactly. That's what a cat is supposed to be. Thank you, cat with a something. Cat with a warrior. I can't see the rest of the name for some reason. But you're for the $2, Ozzy, who says your hair makes me want to get an undercut again. Listen, it's not in anymore, but it's really comfortable. And then you can put your hair up in like a warrior thing. And yeah, it's just, we had a heat wave this week in Oregon, so it's nice. Thank you, Fern, so much for the $5, who says, tell Mina I said meow. Hey, Mina. Hey, Mina. Meow. Okay. You don't know, but I actually got her to look at me, and she went when I was like, hey, what are you doing? And then I said meow, and she was like, that's pretty much what went down. Anyway, thank you so much. You guys are so generous today. Bringing us up to $107. 107. Just so everybody knows, I'm not going to get any of that money until next month. So if you want me to get the money tomorrow, donate it at luxandra.net/live. What's up, Lawrence? How is it going? I don't really like dog licks or cat licks, but I love to pet them. See, I do find it very endearing when my cat pets me or licks me, because she bites. She's like, and then she'll stop for a second, and then she'll be like, blip, 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 blip. And I'm like, okay, that's very sweet. You know, she's making it clear that there's no animosity. She's just aggressive. Like, she's like, there's no ill will. I just need to bite something. Chew toy, personal chew toy is my hand. Legitimately, check that out. Got a little scratch from her this morning. That's what happens. Shakespeare says, I just got back from City Hall fighting for LGBTQ business rights. We have a bathhouse ban in Minneapolis, and it's been a multi-year fight. I got to speak on the importance of safer sex spaces for trans community, specifically as an organizer of intimate T4T spaces. That's so cute. I love that. I said cute because I was thinking about the cat still. But like, cool. It's cool. A lot of DSA homies showed up to support the Safer Sex Spaces Coalition. About 36 speakers. Was awesome to see so much community support. I love that. I love that. I think it's so cool that you are getting directly involved. And like, that's part of why I like Mephi so much, is like Mephi was like, well, I'm stuck in Texas, so you better believe I'm going to start being an advocate and, you know, get out there and do things. I think that's really, really good shit. And I'm excited to get to share the platform of Transatlantic Call-In Show with her tomorrow. It's going to be good. My cat's teeth are too sharp and he does the same but draws blood. Hard to not feel like there is animosity there. She bites hard sometimes where I'm like, hey, I need you to stop. But she's never drawn blood with a bite, for me at least. She only when she like snags. You know, like she's trying to grab me or hold me with her hands, and then I pull away suddenly, or I'm like moving real fast, and she gets me by accident. She doesn't basically ever like hurt me on purpose. She's just trying to hold me. And then mostly the scratching is my fault. Like I think that it's entirely my fault when I get scratched by her. But she's never bitten me hard enough to draw blood. I'm sure she probably could. Like she probably could. I was down near Astoria this weekend and it was very hot. Yeah. I don't like being so hot. Yeah. It's not my favorite. We did finally get all of our air conditioners up in the windows. So we've got some more consistent cooling and not just the one unit that's built into the wall of my rental. So, yay. My cat is named Spicy and she is 100% animosity. Oh no. YouTuber Grudge, I think this is a really interesting question, and I would like to hear Shakespeare's response to this, because I'm not sure really about the whole thing. I don't know anything about it. YouTuber Grudge says, can we have bathhouses that don't turn into sex spaces? I'm not opposed to that existing, but I would like to have a place to just personally, myself, take a bath. Yeah, so I guess I'm not familiar with the space. I'm aware that it's like cruising, or like the public bathhouses are like, in my mind, it's kind of synonymous with gay people, like gay men and gay behavior and stuff. So I guess I'm not really familiar with what the purpose of a bathhouse is outside your home, like outside of the bath that you have in your home. To me, it feels like the purpose of bathhouses is to have gay sex. So like what non-sexual appeal is there to going to a public bathhouse? I love dogs like I love parrots. I will happily hang out with any dog, but I'm not taking on the responsibility for one. True, exactly. There's a black cat in my neighborhood that picks on Bean. I had to chase him off this morning and hiss at him because he keeps getting Bean cornered and then Bean yowls like he's being murdered. Aw, rude. The gays love cats because gays are little messy sociopaths, or because cats are little messy sociopaths, and we're like, valid, true, valid, very valid. Shakespeare says there are cultural bathhouses as well, and they do not have to be inherently sexual spaces, but being able to have both is important to the community. Cool. Why would, but like, okay, to take a bath in public that also has a sauna. I guess as a person who doesn't regulate their temperature very well, I do not at all see the appeal of a sauna, and especially not a public space sauna. Okay, I was just thinking about this because I was thinking about the gym, right? I go to the gym. I mean, I'm kind of like feeling like shit this week and last week. Thanks, fucking uterus. So I haven't been wanting to go to the gym as much, but I'm like, I have the gym and then I have my college stuff, and I want to be able to do both in the same day and everything. And I kind of, for a moment, considered the possibility of like showering at the gym. And even if I had Crocs or something, fucking no thanks. Okay, I have a cis-passing body, so it's not that. Like, I don't think I would get in trouble for being in a bathroom or whatever, or in a shower or what have you. It's just disgusting, and I hate the idea of being around people who are naked or being naked myself near other people. I think it's really disgusting and awful, and I hate it. Maybe that's part of my, like, autism, though, because even in my house, like, okay, if there has been some hair accumulation in the drain, because I have a hair catcher, but it doesn't catch everything. So sometimes you'll still get a buildup of hair or a blockage or whatever in the drain. If I am standing in water, like as in like 100% of the water isn't just draining down. Does it, if there's like any amount of water backing up into the tub, I'm really upset. I'm like really actually very, very, very upset by that. So I don't know if that's just my particular flavor of autism, that like and I also realize that this relates to the dishes as well. Part of the reason why I don't like doing the dishes is because I don't like touching contaminated water, which is why I got some of those rubber gloves, and they're amazing. But yeah, I think there's just something in particular for me about like wet environments seeming really, really disgusting and dirty, and like really triggering my disgust response. So anyway. Chapek says that bathhouses are for communities where people don't have baths in their homes traditionally. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. Like, right, like if I'm familiar with the concept of the Roman bathhouse, or like Greek or Korean style bathhouses, okay, I could see that. But yeah, and Billy says, I can't say I've ever been to a public bathhouse in America. There was actually a very nice natural spring / combined bathhouse in Banff, Alberta, which was just comfortable and relaxed. Yeah, I would say I would be more willing to go to like a hot spring and bathe in a hot spring because it's like outside. There's something about being inside where there's water that I'm like, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I don't like it. I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't want to be around it, I don't want to touch it, I don't want to look at it, I don't want to be around it. I also have a package of vinyl gloves that now lives in my bathroom so that I can put on a vinyl glove to take the hair out, because I loathe touching it. I don't want to touch the hair in the drain. And I hate everything about it. So, what are you doing, Miss Mina? What are you doing, baby girl? Oh, yeah? Yeah, you being a silly girl? She really wants to PLAY. She really wants to. She wants to. She wants violence. She's craving violence. Are you craving violence? You violent? Oh, yeah, you are. You are. Yeah. She's so fucking weird. Um, Locker rooms are nightmare fuel. Agree. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Yeah, and I wonder how many other trans people feel like that, right? Where it's like, even if, like, again, I live in a state where I'm pretty sure that bathrooms and locker rooms and everything is just like you decide where you're going to go, you have that protection. And even if that wasn't the case, like, even if it was based on what's on your ID, in Oregon, you can just tell them whether you want an M, an F, or an X on your ID. And so, whatever. Um, but I wonder how many other trans people are like, regardless of whether it's okay for my trans body to be in this space, I would fucking rather die than get naked in a public locker room. Um, I'm actually really curious. Yeah, Sophie says, I was absolutely terrified of the locker room growing up. Being an unrealized trans girl didn't help, but I don't think I'll ever be comfy in any locker room. Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm like that with my feet. I need to wear flip flops in the shower and shoes when washing dishes. I can't do it barefoot. That's so interesting. If we were truly panicked about adapting for climate change, we would probably all become reliant on public bathhouses and public kitchens to save energy. So that's a really interesting thought from the, hypothetical. Let's create our hypothetical commune. I am really okay with the idea of a public kitchen. Like, it makes sense. Just have a building, a small building that's just the dining area, like a big dining area or even an outdoor dining area, and then like the kitchen. Cool. Um and like have a coordinated plan for, which meals are going to be which days, which people are on which duties, like which responsibilities are people going to fulfill. I've never considered the idea of a public bathhouse because here's the thing. We currently exist in a place of tension in some ways between like concern about the concern about climate change versus concern about public health, right? Like, I'm sure that part of the reason why I don't like the idea of a public bath space is because it is because there are fucking idiots who will come to a place like that with a skin infection, like with staph, STAPH, and then you have fucking staph everywhere. And it doesn't take very many stupid, inconsiderate people, ignorant people, to then suddenly you have a community-wide problem, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I am able to get over my like disgust and hatred of other people and their germs to be like, yes, I think that we should have public bathhouses. I think public restrooms are an unavoidable situation. You need to have public restrooms. You can't go out in public if you can't pee anywhere. Like, you can't be gone from your house for longer than a couple hours if you can't pee anywhere in public. But I don't know that I'm going to fully come around and be an advocate for the commune level public bathhouse. Like, I think actually go fuck yourself a little bit on that one. Not you specifically. Not any of you specifically. But, like, I think that I'm going to ideologically say absolutely not. I do the same thing, Dally. When I was changing in a changing room as a kid, again, cis passing body, didn't even know that I was trans yet, and I would prefer, if I had to really get naked, to do it in the stall. But most of the time I would just be like, oh, I'll just keep on my bra and underwear. Like, I was not changing my bra for gym class, I think. Anyway. I don't even really feel like being in public gyms because wearing shorts is too exposed for me. Yeah, I don't like wearing shorts at the gym either, but I have in the past worn shorts at the gym. I think the reason now that I don't like wearing shorts in the gym is because, again, I don't want to fucking touch things. So I do wear like a sports bra at the gym, and it is kind of tricky. It doesn't bother me as much, but like I'll spray everything down before I use the machinery, especially if I'm something that like if I'm gonna lay down on the machine, like the leg curl machine that you're laying prone on, and my belly is like touching the thing. I clean all that really thoroughly beforehand, and after obviously. But I just feel like I wear leggings or sweatpants at the gym because I want to minimize how much I'm touching stuff with my skin. I don't know. Yeah, okay. I'm getting several people who are like, who are like, I'd rather be caught dead. Yeah, Prime says I'd rather be caught dead than naked in a locker room. Yeah, anyway, I guess I'm not the only person who's like, I violently don't like this concept. Agree. Billy says you need to have a culture that prioritizes good hygiene and care and dignity for your fellow people before a public bathhouse becomes a reasonable idea. From what I've learned about them in Japan, they are really good. Sure. Yeah, in France, for example, public restrooms tend to be a lot cleaner from what I hear because in France, they have cleaning supplies in the bathroom and there's a social expectation that you spray shit down and you clean it after you're done. Which I would believe that because I also just saw a post of somebody cleaning up after some Scottish fans, some Scottish soccer fans, I think, were like in the United States and they had cleaned up. They had a big party at like a park. They were celebrating the game, but they also packaged all of their trash and like so the cleanup guy came and he was like, "Oh, everything's already cleaned up and it's just in trash bags already." And there was a lot of trash, but it was already contained into the trash bag. So I would believe it if there's this European concept of like cleaning up after yourself. And it does kind of seem that way. You know, I know a family that just moved to France and it just seems like people there don't leave stuff. Like people don't just throw trash around. Just like a lot more respect for the community. And that could be because they moved to a city it's a small city and it's very walkable. So maybe it's like if you are walking around in your community more, maybe you're like more aware and you care more about whether there's fucking trash everywhere. I really struggle with that. Someone in my neighborhood, like to the point where like the property management company has gotten involved about it. Someone in my neighborhood consistently throws trash out of their house into the like we you know, we've got landscaping and like trees and stuff, and I've just kind of had to watch for the year and a half that I've lived here as the amount of trash in our surrounding environment increases just since I moved here, because one of the people who live on my street is like literally just throwing shit out their window. I don't know if it's a grown adult. I don't know if it's a child. Like, I don't know who's doing it, but I'm like, how do you just not give a shit about your community, about your neighbors, about your own view? Like, okay, I want to be clear. I live in a part of the valley where it's like, I mean, the whole valley is fucking beautiful. It's like really hard to find anywhere in the valley, the Willamette Valley, that is not like, wow, it's so fucking pretty here. And that you get to enjoy basically having a forest like in your neighborhood. Like you basically get to just enjoy. I've had a deer right outside my window when we first moved here. Like, I took a picture. There was a deer right the fuck outside my window. I came across like wild turkeys in the part of town that I live. So like we're right there with the with the nature. And for people to just be like, I don't give a fuck about that, and be like, I'm literally gonna throw a can of Coke, a bright red can of Coke, into like the trees, and then it just gets caught in the tree, and then it's just fucking, and then I look out my window and I have to see a fucking can of Coke. Like, Loki, like, I hope that they get evicted. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're a piece of shit and you're treating our neighborhood like trash, and I hope that you get evicted. Like, you should be not doing that. You should be maintaining your lease agreement and like the HOA or whatever, like the agreement that we have in our neighborhood, like the property management and everything. Like, you should not live here if you can't respect the space, you know? Like, I don't fucking understand the mentality behind it, and it makes me feel like hateful. Like, I'm like actively contemptuous and hateful about the fact that people in my neighborhood are throwing shit outside. I don't know. It's so frustrating. It's fucking annoying, actually. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I see. I see what's happening. Okay, I will in a minute, okay? In a minute. It's wet food time. And I did kind of spill all of her dry food onto the floor earlier, so I do need to I'll give her food in a minute. Shakespeare says, I used to go swimming all the time for physical therapy after my back surgery. After HRT, I lost that comfort and rarely have been in a pool since. Yeah, kind of unrelated, but I was just thinking, like, so I really wish that I had a penis, but like in a practical everyday sense, I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue dressing the way that I want to dress if I have a penis. So, cuz it doesn't get like it's not like I can make it go away. You know, like when a trans girl transitions and it gets all like small and like cute and stuff, like if I get a penis, it's just going to be like, it's just going to be fucking there all the time, and there is going to be no tucking it or hiding it or whatever. So, I don't know. I get a little bit conflicted about that. Just going to follow up on this text that I just got. Okay. Just going to respond to the Jimmy text. Oh my god. Ah. Why is my brain going like, we're all in this together? Is that Glee? I never watched Glee, actually. Cool. Was not expecting to hear that descriptor of T-girl penises today. Like, sorry, I don't mean, I'm like not, I'm just like, part of the reason why I was thinking that is because I did just see a picture on social media where a trans girl was like wearing like underwear and a sports bra, and like her bulge was visible, but it's like small and cute. I don't know how to describe. I mean, obviously she was like not hard or whatever. She was not erect. But it's like, you know, it gets smaller and it gets softer and it shrinks and it's cute and it's just like an adorable little ooh bulge. I don't know how to describe it. I'm sorry if that's weirdly objectifying. I'm just describing what I witnessed with my eyeballs. And I just don't have the option of that. Like, if I got a penis, it would have like a thing. It would just be like 4 inches all the time, and it wouldn't get smaller. I don't really want like balls either, so that's like the other part of it. So it's just a penis there with no balls, and it's gonna be like a minimum of 4 inches long. I don't know. Anyway, I struggle a little bit with what the fuck I want. What do I want, Mina Bina? I know. Isn't that crazy? High School Musical. Okay, I also never watched High School Musical, so. We're definitely at a point where I cannot respond to every message, or I would never stop talking. Care for the appearance of the community and respect for nature are social values that have to be inculcated? Inculcated? To be taught or impressed upon people. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. If only we could trade organs. Yeah, but I want to keep my vagina. I just want to add to it. I want additive procedures. Imagine fallow, but you crack it like a glow stick to make it hard. True. True. Oh my goodness. I have the ADHD. I did feel like I was going to make a comment earlier, and then I forgot what it was, and then that's happened like several times. Oh my fucking god, dude. I'm like semi on call because Jimmy is so like irregular with his schedule. Like he's sitting here asking me if I have time for him to show me new tools tonight. I'm like, I don't fucking know. Probably not tonight. Like, or tomorrow before the show. Oh, you mean during the brief time that I usually try to go to the fucking gym in the okay, great. Yeah. Cool. I have such mad respect for your preferred genital situation now, not gonna lie. Based AF. Yeah, thank you, I guess. It's like, I guess a lot of it is like sexual because I don't really care about like peeing out of it. So it's like, I mean, I basically like, sometimes I feel like there's been times where I've been a lot more open about sex stuff on this show, and so I don't want to like launch back into a thing where people are kind of used to me not being as sexual on the show now. And also, there's like one person in our community who's like pretty much consistently sexually harassing everybody here, and I'm gonna have to put the hammer down on that at some point. But like I struggle to reach the place that you're trying to reach unless I'm imagining that I have a dick. So oh my god, I don't have time. He's like, would you prefer to see this tonight or tomorrow before the show? I don't have time either of those times. Like, I fucking guess I can't go to the gym tomorrow. God damn it. Jimmy, I don't have time either of those times. You want to show me new stuff? I don't have time. Fucking chat. God damn it. I'll think about it. I know Fuda is a thing, but I'm too autistic and can't figure out how that would physically work. What do you mean? Do you mean like how does it work? Okay, because like in the Fuda situation, I don't like Fuda as like I'm trying to think about how a body would actually look. Like it actually takes me out of it sometimes. Excuse me, because Fuda is like there's like cartoonish proportions that make it kind of hard to like map onto a real human body, right? Like the penis is like 1.5 feet long, and it's big. It's a big around as somebody's entire face, and the balls are huge and pendulous, and the tits are huge, and the tiny little like waist that they have. Oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to preemptively say I'm so sorry that I brought this up or that we're talking about this. Billy doesn't know what Fuda is. Futanari, Futanari, is a type of porn. and it's basically like the Futanari is a very exaggerated female body with a tiny waist and huge tits, and a big fat ass and everything, like a really hyper feminine woman. It's a cartoon. Like a hentai level situation. And then just like an enormous penis and a vagina with like a clitoris and everything, like tucked behind the balls. So it's a porn category. And it's also like the only type of porn category that exists that represents a body that's anything like what I want my body to look like. But it's like not, but I don't. Like, I don't want to have cartoonishly huge tits and a cartoonishly huge dick and like all this bullshit that goes along with it, that it's like, even if you're just trying to find trans bodies represented in porn, like trans bodies, like real trans people in porn, unless you're following like, you know, the independent creators, you can sometimes get content that isn't like the biggest penis that exists. But even just watching like regular, like I just want to see trans bodies in porn, there's this like giant penis thing happening that's like, that's not what I want my body to look like. I want like a cute tiny penis. Like I want a little one. My issue is that you can't have a penile shaft in the same spot as a hole. Yeah, sometimes the artwork is not the best, right? And that's true for hentai in general as well, because sometimes in hentai in general, like the pussy hole is like on the front of where the pubic bone is. Like in a real human body, there's a bone right there. And so sometimes you'll watch hentai where like the person is being penetrated in a way that's like not actually physically possible because there is a pubic bone there, right? Like you're inserting your penis here, but the penis actually has to be inserted like back and under and behind. I was just reminded of like Rhett and Link talking about their sexual awakenings, and like the first time Rhett saw like a woman with her legs actually spread, and his like revelatory experience of like, oh, there's more to it. Like, you know, at first he had this like, you know, this like flat front view of a vagina, and then he was like, oh, it opens up, there's more, like a flower. Anyway, I can't think of hentai anymore without Matt championing that one anime. True. Is Fuda not a slur against trans women, or am I just too internet pilled? I've never seen it used as a slur. Obviously, it's a sex porn category, so it's not like I would not call someone that. I'm evoking a concept in the popular cultural zeitgeist to try to communicate like a general vibe to someone. Because there's like there's a real word for this now, like the trans community. Hi, Meffy. The trans community is... We're on for tomorrow, right? I just want to confirm, Meffy. Maybe you did message me back and I just didn't see. Yes, we are on for tomorrow. Okay, good. Jimmy was like, you should text your person for tomorrow and try to make sure that everything's on the up. And I was like, I don't really feel like I need to, but I did anyway. So, good to know that we're all on. But, Salmation is a term that the queer community has come up with, this idea of someone with both sets of genitals. Salmacian, Salmation. But nobody's gonna fucking know that word. Like, if I say Futanari porn, people are gonna more broadly be like, yes, I've heard of that, I know what that is. So there is a word that the queer community has made up for it, for like a person who has both genitals or who wants both genitals, but like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel weird about the myopium. I get weird about how specific the terms are getting in the trans community sometimes. I was looking at a pride flag art thing recently, like a whole bunch of different pride flag colors incorporated into the artwork. And there was one that I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is. And I had to send it to my younger sibling. And I was like, hey, what pride flag is this color scheme supposed to be? And they were like, oh, that's the Arrow Ace flag, the sunset flag. And I'm like, that's kind of fucking stupid. I don't know. Like, why do we need, I don't know. Like, there is an ace flag and an arrow flag. Why did you need to combine them? And also, why did you have to come up with a completely different color scheme to combine the two ideas into one flag? Like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. But, like, I don't know. Maybe there's somebody who's myopia. Thank you. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Prime. Like, I'm sorry. We're like, it's hard. It's like, okay, talking about trans bodies is tough sometimes because we're adults and we're sexual, and like your sexual function is a part of your transition. But also trans bodies are almost exclusively represented in porn. So it's like, how do we talk about trans bodies and genitals and surgeries and stuff without, to some extent, talking about porn? So I'm sorry if that's been like alienating for anybody today. I know there's ace people or people with dysphoria who just like don't. I'm sorry. Sometimes we just talk about this. Like, sometimes it happens. Chasers have a negative connotation, though. Yes, Billy, chasers have a negative connotation because of they objectify trans bodies in a way that's like, it's just undesirable, you know. Like, cis women get treated this way too, right? Where the idea of her body is more important than her as a person. So it's not like trans people are like uniquely dehumanized through porn or what have you. But yeah, and trans people occupy like a social space where it's kind of like socially acceptable to be really fucked up to us in a way that it's like, at least on the surface level, not acceptable to be that way towards cis women. So there's like a weird angle where, and chasers also tend to like really fetishize and focus on the part of the body that we don't like. So, right, like if a trans woman is dysphoric about her penis, but then this chaser is watching a bunch of trans porn in which like trans women who are in porn will stop taking their estrogen for a period of time in order to get their erections back. Like, trans women will fuck with their transition progress. They will pause their transition progress so that they can make porn where their dick is big and working and stuff, and they'll take Viagra and everything. So for somebody who's not in porn, who's like, I have dysphoria about this part of my body, I don't like it, I don't want you to touch it, I don't want you to try to interact with it in the way that a man would use it. Like, that's what I think about a lot of trans porn, is that like, if trans women are depicted in porn, a lot of the time they're using their penis in a way that a man would, right? Like, they're penetrating, it's big, they're dominating. Like, obviously that's not like all trans porn, but it's like, that's what's popular, right? Like, that's what the boys like. What are you doing, ma'am? Excuse me, what are you doing, ma'am? Thank you. But then chasers and other people who don't know anything about trans folks, they hone in, they focus on that part of the body, and there's an assumption that you want to use the penis in the way that a man would. And I think that that's a big part of the problem with chasers. Because, yeah, like, of course, it's going to feel weird if the part of your body that you're the most uncomfortable with, someone is like, oh my God, it's so sexy. Like, I want you to do this, that, and the other to me with it. And yeah, it's just like really uncomfortable. And that's kind of why. Just to be clear, Ocean, I'm not saying that I'm correct, that my feeling about all these new flags is like, can you fucking stop? Like, I'm not saying that that's correct. I'm just saying I'm getting old and out of touch with the queer community, which is something that I view as a problem, I guess. But I'm also, but I've always been like that. Whenever people are like, OMG, am I a semi-gender fluid, trigender person? I'm like, I don't fucking care, and I don't think you should either. I think you're wasting your time trying to hone in on a specific label when you could be focusing more on just like doing the shit that makes you feel good. So I've always been like that. And so when it's now, I'm like, okay, what's this new term? Or why is this flag being reworked or whatever? I'm like, can you fucking stop? And I'm not saying that that's the correct thing to do. Have you heard of the movie Leviticus? No, I'm guessing that it's a creepy Bible thing. What's your favorite movie franchise? Favorite movie franchise? I don't know that I have a favorite movie franchise. I mean, obviously, I like to tune out my brain to some phase 1, phase 2 Marvel stuff, but I think I'm kind of against the idea of movie franchises a little bit. Check Discord DMs. I have shown the only good flag. The only good flag. Okay. Yeah. Let me open that image link. This is the only good flag, according to Gayfesh. And I'm inclined to agree. Isn't that wonderful? Wonderful, wonderful. Love that. Love that. I've heard people say just stop, but often that's really difficult when it's on your mind a lot. Hey, do you know what's a really great way to develop fucking OCD? Do you know what's a really great way to make your anxiety worse? Is by constantly thinking about the thing that you're anxious about. I don't just... Why do you need a very hyper-specific label? Why is it not enough for you to just be like, okay, I'm non-binary and I'm gonna do whatever I want now? Like, that's... No. That's what I did. I was like, I'm genderqueer, and that means fuck you, I'm gonna do whatever I want. Like, and then I stopped identifying as genderqueer at a certain point because I was like, I feel like that's claiming too much. I feel like I'm participating too much in the gender by calling myself genderqueer. And so now I'm just like, whatever, I'm non-binary, fuck it, who cares? But that took 17 years, so. Did you guys know that I've been out as trans for almost 20 years? Like, I think as of this year, my transgenderism is old enough to vote, actually. So that's fun. Yeah, teenagers are always going to explore things in granular ways like that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, yep. Anyway, sorry you had to leave and then come back, Mephi. Yeah, okay, we're coming back to the topic of, like, bottom surgery, I guess. Emily says, I'm a penis haver who has gone through a very long and winding road about wanting bottom surgery and have arrived at the idea that I am someone who might want that in the future, whereas when I was first coming out, I wanted it right now. Yeah, that's tough. I love this. Jazz Dog says, I explored being trans, potentially, and just went back to being cis. I gave myself dysphoria in the exploration process. And if anything, it proved to me that nobody can be trans on a whim like conservatives think people can. Yeah, and I love that for you, Jazzy Jazz. Like, I love, you were like, hey, I might be trans. And I was like, yeah, sure. Let me give you the support and the resources, whatever. And you're like, oh, actually, I gave myself dysphoria and it turns out that I'm fine being cis. Like, cool, good. At least now you know that you chose your gender, right? Like, even if you're like, maybe you thought you had dysphoria and you didn't, and then it's like, oh, well, now I know what dysphoria is actually like because I gave it to myself. Like, I love that. I love that. Mephi said something earlier. Okay, Mephi said, I have seen penile preserving vaginoplasty for trans femmes, and I'm not sure what the transmasculine version of that is. Okay, so here's the thing. If you were born with a vagina and a vulva, and you want to get a penis installed, first of all, obviously, lots of you know, probably this is not new information, but when you take testosterone, the clitoris basically gets bigger, and it can get so big that it's functionally the same as a micropenis. Like when, people born with a penis, sometimes when they go through puberty, the mechanism that's supposed to kick in to make the penis go from like the size of a child to the size of an adult, I had to change my fair share of diapers when I was a young person. So it's like, okay, there's a difference between like a baby's penis and an adult's penis. And I don't know anything about the transition point because I didn't go through that. And I didn't like shower naked with my brother or anything crazy. So, but if the process doesn't kick in and the penis basically just stays like a baby penis or functionally the same as that, then okay. So a trans guy can grow their clitoral material to a point where it's basically like a micropenis. And then you could get what's called metoidioplasty, which basically just there's like the clitoris is like held down against the body by like some tendons. If this is like the front and the outside of your body, it's kind of being held down. And so you can have a surgery called a simple metoidioplasty that just kind of cuts the tendon that holds it down, and then it can just kind of like freely move or whatever. Metoidioplasty can also involve like taking the surrounding labia material and like forming it around the clitoris, and here's the like the original tip of the clitoris pointing through, and then it's a little micropenis. Maybe it's a little bit thicker than it used to be, or like thicker than a micropenis or whatever. So none of those things require for you to have a vaginectomy. Vaginectomy being like, you know, usually, of course, what they do first is they take out your uterus, and they will take out your cervix, and sometimes they'll take out your ovaries, depending on whether you want them to or not. And then they cauterize, like burn the inside of the vaginal cavity, and then they sew it shut at the opening so that it just smooths over and it just heals, and then there's no more vagina and it's just gone. But you don't have to do that, right? So the metoidioplasty is just using your enlarged clitoral growth to create a micropenis. And then there's phalloplasty, which is like a construction of a more cis-normative penis. You know, and you would basically like take a skin graft from somewhere else on your body. Commonly nowadays, that's done with a skin graft from your forearm, because there are two nerves that run up your arm that can both be harvested to increase the chance for you to have like a wide range of full sensation in your new phallus. So they take a full thickness graft from your arm, and then they create the phallus using that, and they attach it at your pubic bone, like above the vulva. So like the front of the body is kind of like, okay, it's just like, this is the mons pubis, and then right here there's like a split where like, okay, now we're splitting, and the labia is down here and the clitoral hood is down here and everything. So, but the front of this here is like a smooth skin surface, right? And so they attach the penis there so that later they can put an erectile device in it and moor the device with screws to the pelvic bone there. So they're like screwing it in. So the phallus is put above and kind of in front of the opening of the labia. So, and again, doing that, if you want to have a urethral lengthening, like if you want to pee through it, a lot of the time they will require you to do vaginectomy, because it's just really complicated and fraught with like medical complications and medical failure if you try to lengthen the urinary tract without removing the vagina. Like, it's just complicated. So if you don't want urethral lengthening, if you do not plan to pee out of the tip of the penis, then you don't need to get vaginectomy. So I actually know someone who has a surgical result that is like, if you see the front of their body, they have a penis and they have testicles, which you create the testicles by taking the outer labia and you basically stitch that together into a ball sack. Like, they're analogous body parts or homologous body parts. The ball sack and the labial lips are the same thing biologically. So that's how they create the balls. So like, I know somebody who has in front, you're like, okay, that's a penis and balls. And then if they lift it all up and like open their legs, their clitoris is still there and their vaginal opening is still there. The vulva has been changed and reworked because the vulva is what's used to create the scrotum, right? Like the whole external appearance is around the clitoris is different, but the clitoris is still there, still has like the clitoral hood and everything on it. So yeah, basically I know that there's penile preserving vaginoplasty, which is essentially like peritoneal pull-through method. So if you were born with a penis, you can keep your penis and you can even keep your balls. And then behind your balls in your taint area, they can do a peritoneal pull-through method to give you a vaginal opening, and you can preserve your penis. And so yeah, so for for a person who started with a vagina, this is what can happen. Like you can have a penis created either through a skin graft. Oh, and like they take a full thickness skin graft, and that means they take the skin and the fat under the skin. So sometimes you can see phalloplasty scars where the arm looks like really, really skinny in this chunk, this area, because they took the fat from underneath the skin. So then they take a partial thickness graft off of the leg, meaning they only take like a certain layers of the skin and they don't take the subcutaneous fat layer. And so they take that skin and then cover up your arm so that you have skin there. So it's like a process that requires donor material on your own body and everything. But the only thing about any of those procedures that might require you to actually get rid of your vagina is if you want urethral lengthening. And even then, some surgeons will do it. It's just like, if you think about the mechanics of that, like the urethral opening, if somebody has a vagina, is like behind the clitoris and in front of the vagina, like right there at the vaginal opening, basically. And so if you think about like trying to take that urethral opening and then building a tube for it to then travel outside the body, really functionally like outside the body. So, you know, you've got your, you know, let's say like this is your urethral opening, and then the base of your penis is over here. And so you need to now create a tube that will travel along the outside of your body like that, like a tube running along the outside of your body to reach the tip of, or the base of the penis. And then there's a urethra constructed inside the penis. So then you can pee all the way out of it. But can you just imagine the level of like, can you like imagine the potential for risk, and like where do you get the donor material from? Like where, and like if you get kicked there, is it going to destroy your new urethral path? Like there's a reason why surgeons don't often do it. If you get the vaginectomy and clitoral burial, which I haven't mentioned up until this point, but you can have the clitoris just kind of covered up. They don't usually remove it. They don't usually like cut it out and remove it. That's not done. But they can basically like cover it with a layer of skin. So you can still like through the skin, you can still put pressure on it and touch the button and tell where the button is. So even if you're still waiting for sensation to come through the phallus, you can still like have sexual function. So you can imagine like, okay, so instead of on the outside of your body having a tube running along the outside of your body, if you have like a whole skin flap covering that, then there's like a lot less risk of failure. And when we're talking about failure or complications with regards to urethral lengthening, we're not talking like the penis falls off. We're just like, okay, well, the urethral lengthening failed, and so you can't pee standing up. So that's like the only real risk. I have lost so many viewers. I'm sorry. I think this stuff is really interesting, and I've spent a lot of time researching it. And if you don't think it's cool, then I don't know what to tell you. Sorry if it's not really the kind of thing that you wanted to. But listen, trans just chatting stream sometimes involves like an in-depth conversation about genitals. Sorry. Sorry. That is funny. Wetware says, it'll never not be funny to me how I have vivid memories of being 6 years old and wanting a vagina, and then how 18-year-old me was unironically thinking about starting estrogen, but it still took another couple years before I decided I might be trans. True. People don't remember all the different anatomy terms, and I think teenage boys find the word vagina to be funnier than the word labia. No, that's fair. Or like funnier than the word vulva. Like, sure, yeah, vagina is a funny word. Excuse me. Oh my god. Actually, a fungus says the best sex ed I ever got was the teacher using her own glass dildo to teach us how to put on a condom. Glass is so hard because, first of all, it's really hard, and I don't personally think it feels very good. But also, it's room temperature, like it's cold. A glass dildo is so much colder than a silicone dildo. It's crazy. What's up, Hella? I know this has nothing to do with anything, but my indie book got a 5-star rating. Fuck yeah! That's exciting. I'm glad for you, Hella. Fuck yeah. I think it's extremely interesting. Yeah, I mean, it is really interesting. It's like, that's what medical science is. And you guys, something that I think folks don't get or don't believe, like when I was first trying to explain this stuff to my partner, he just straight up was in denial of everything that I said about people being able to develop erotic sensation in a fallow result penis. But like, that's why they take the two nerves. Then you basically have one nerve that's hooked up in a way that you can get touch sensation, hot and cold, you know, all that kind of stuff, like, you know, the sensation of the breeze against your skin or whatever. And then there's a different setup where they attach one of the nerves to the nerve that is your pleasure nerve or whatever. They don't attach it to the clitoris directly or anything, but there's like a nerve in the side of the groin that, like, that's where it zooms in and connects to your genitals. So you can have pleasurable sensation from directly touching the penis. Like, so the skin used to be here. I love how I'm doing a little bit of this on like what would hypothetically be a penis in this scenario. That's very funny. But this skin is this is already like pretty soft, sensitive skin, right? If I'm like very lightly touching this area, that's already very sensitive. Like, that's all, I'm already like, ooh, I could give myself tingles by doing this. So you've got that level of sensation, but you can hook it up to have direct, like, erotic sensation in this skin that used to be here on your arm, but is now in your penis area. So yeah, because nerves are weird, and they're capable of growing back, and you have to like reconnect your body, and like it might at first feel like you're deferring. So like maybe you're touching the new organ, but it feels like it's happening somewhere else on your body. And so you do have to, like, there is a period of time where you have to relearn your nerves and where they are and what they feel like and everything. And that's like kind of a grueling process. I personally hate the feeling of nerve regrowth. I cut my finger really bad here one time. You can still see this like bulge on the side of my hand from when I had to have stitches, and the nerves had to regrow in this, and I fucking hated it. It's like itchy and uncomfortable. Good news is that silicone lube can help. So if your dick nerve regrowth is bothering you, you can just grab some silicone lube and be like, you know, anyway. And yeah, of course, not, you know, when I'm talking about the nerve hookups, that's just the nerves. But yes, obviously, they also take a vein so that the penis can have blood flow to it. So there is also blood flow to the new area, because otherwise it would just fall off if there was no blood flow to it. But yeah. I'm enjoying thinking about this like an electrician putting wires into terminal blocks. True. Yeah, truly. Considering how fascinated cis people seem to be by trans people's genitals, you'd think they wouldn't always get so upset when we talk about these things. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna like info dump. This is an area where I'm info dumping. And I can recite this information because I fucking know it backwards and forwards. Like, I can talk about particularly trans masculine genital surgeries all day. I don't really understand a lot of things about like trans femme surgery. I mean, like, I get it in vague. I don't really understand peritoneal pull through as compared to penile inversion, but like, I don't need to know that in order to know that it works. This thought passed by a while ago, but the person realizing they were trans reminds me of a conversation I had online that ended with the other person saying something like, bro, that sounds like CPTSD, and then they listed symptoms, and I was like, oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah. I'm dealing with that myself of like, I have CPTSD and like, I don't think that I've fully addressed it. And I don't know that the rounds of exposure therapy I did like fixed the problem. There's certain things that I'm still like, the year 2022, I don't even know how the fuck I'm going to dig into that. I'm going to dig into it with lots of tears because it was the worst year of my fucking life. And I'm not over it yet. So cool. That's fun. Trans woman here. I'm going through Wally World making power drill sounds because I'm paying attention and am dumb. I love that for you, though. We are squishy machines, and it's awe-inspiring how much we've figured out in a relatively short amount of time compared to when even looking into a cadaver was incredibly illegal. That's true. Yeah. And obviously, these surgeries were pioneered, like the type of surgeries that I'm describing, like phalloplasty, which is the skin graft version, is it was like pioneered for cis people, right? Like actually the big boom of like the technological advancements around phalloplasty was because of like World War I and World War II, where a bunch of guys had their dicks blown off in the war. And it was a trans man around that time who was like seeing these, he might have been a doctor himself, actually. I can't remember the name. I feel so terrible about this. Hold on, actually, first trans man to get, not penis surgery. I was just going to type in penis surgery into Google. Michael Dillon, the first trans man to undergo phalloplasty in 1934? Or was that just when he started studying? What was the year that he got phalloplasty? Michael Dillon. This is the YouTube page. Buddhist monk and the first known transgender man to undergo phalloplasty. From Kensington. In 1934, blah, blah, 1938, he left his job at the laboratory after he was outed to his colleagues. He wrote a book, Self, A Study in Ethics and Endocrinology, considered to be a pioneering work in the field of transgender medicine. He received a gender-affirming double mastectomy whilst in hospital for hypoglycemia. Okay. And he had heard of the work of surgeon Sir Harold Gillies, who agreed to perform a phalloplasty on Dillon after the war. So in 1945, Michael Dillon is this guy's name. He's from England. He underwent a series of phalloplasty surgeries by Dr. Gillies. And as a medical student, Dillon performed an orchidectomy on Roberta Cowell, who was the first British trans woman to receive male-to-female sex reassignment surgery. So in 1945, the first transgender man received a phalloplasty, and that was like the booming time. Like that would have been the first time in history that it was possible for a transgender man to get that surgery, because again, it was 1945, World War II, blah, 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 World War I. And like all these surgeries existed. So whenever people are like, oh my God, trans surgery is like the results are too iffy, or like, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. Guys, the surgery was pioneered for cis men who had lost their penis. So you can imagine that they were trying, like, it was medicine that was created for cis men. So that they put as much effort as they possibly could into making sure that you could pee out of it and that you could fuck with it. And that it would feel good when you fucked with it. Like, yeah, I don't know. I get really hung up too when people are, and especially trans people, when trans people are like, oh, well, it's just not where I want it to be yet. And I'm like, where the fuck can we go from here? Like, I genuinely don't think that there is some breakthrough that we're going to do. Like, I am not even sure if we could grow a penis on a scaffold with your own stem cells. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Like, I think that we might be at the pinnacle until some crazy shit happens that completely revolutionizes all forms of surgery. I kind of think, and listen, it's really fucking good. Like, again, it was created for cis men, by cis men. So, of course, yeah, they want to try to maximize your ability to jerk it. They want to jork it. You want to be jorking it. You want to fuck your wife. They're going to try to make it as good as it can be for that purpose. You want to pee out of it? Of course you want to pee out of it. You've been peeing in the snow since you were 4 years old. Of course you want to keep peeing in the snow. And, like, of course, like, you want it to have an erection, you know? Like, so, yes, all of those things that a cis man can do with his penis and who wants to do those things with his penis, they made the surgeries so that you could do all of those things. So, yeah, I kind of think that it's silly when cis and trans people are like, yeah, well, it's not really where I want it to be. Like, where do you want it to be? Do you want it to be indistinguishable from a cis penis? Because so do all of these people who got their dicks blown off in the war. But, like, that's where the technology is. I don't know what you think is going to happen in the next 50 years to medical science. I think I was in your chat back in 2022. How was that? Do you remember how I was in 22? Because 22 would have been the first year that I was streaming. So that you're saying you're a founder. You're a founding member of the Hordes community. I always wanted to be a woman but didn't want to be trans. Is that transphobic of me? It might be like internalized transphobia. Like, obviously being trans is hard. Like, the world treats you badly. And obviously being trans, it's like a lot of work to become the gender that you're trying to become. Like, obviously it takes time and it takes effort and you have to learn it and blah, blah, blah. So I can understand being like, I have gender dysphoria, but I don't know if I'm ready to pursue transition because being trans is an undesirable social status. But, you know, I would say read into it a little bit, you know, learn about yourself a little bit, ask yourself some hard questions. Like, if you could press a button right now and you would just, or take a magic potion, like whatever version of this makes you happy. If you took a magic potion right now, or if you could press a button right now and you wake up tomorrow and you are, you know, you just are the other gender, the gender that you're imagining. You just are all of those things. Would you press the button or would you drink the potion? And I think that that's a good way of honing in on, like, are you actually trans or not? Because if you would press the button, then, like, you are trans, right? What is TADC? Wait, what? I think there's something going on in YouTube chat that I don't know what it is. And I'm having a hard time reading. Oh, probably because my glasses are all fucking dirty. I don't know who Billy the Kid is. We got Billy the Kid. I don't know who this is. What are we doing? With enough development in genetics, I think all body modifications will eventually be possible because that is kind of how genetics works. Sure. I'm just saying, like, for all these trans people especially who are like, I'm never going to get bottom surgery because the results aren't going to be able to do everything that I want it to do. I'm like, yeah, but it can do all the things that you want it to do. So you're just going to die unfulfilled. Like, you could spend like a couple of years of your life getting the surgery and then die happy, but you're choosing to not have that because you're imagining some perfect result that is, like, not currently medically an option. And even if it was, or sorry, it's just not medically an option. And I think that we're depriving ourselves of the potential to live, like, full happy lives just because it's basically functioning on medical misinformation. Billy the Kid was just banned on Jimmy Snow and the Line. Okay, fun. Also, hello, Ale. How's it going? Hitting that button like it owes me money. True. Thank you, Data. TADC is The Amazing Digital Circus, an animated YouTube show. Oh, people have recommended that to me before. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with folks who are saying, yeah, wouldn't it be great to know what the world would look like if you were, if we hadn't, if we had not lost all of the research and information at the Hirschfeld Library? Like, yeah, the whole world would be very different. I would like to think. I would like to think. You don't know who Billy the Kid is? He was Socrates' best bud. By that, I assume that you're referring to like. So Billy the Kid, it was Jesse James, right? Jesse James. I want my hair to grow in sapphire blue. Dyeing it is so much effort. That's understandable. That's fair. I haven't called Jimmy yet, then he'll unban me. It's all good. Jimmy was just a bit emotional yesterday. I don't know if you mean to be like a condescending asshole, but that's really not like a nice thing to say about you. Okay, you like you realize that Jimmy is like one of my best friends, right? Like I don't know if you know that. Not only is he my boss, like he's my boss second. He's one of my best friends first. Like I've known Jimmy for a decade, you know? Not Jesse James. It's a Bill and Ted reference. Okay. Billy the Kid is a Bill and Ted reference? I could have sworn that it's one of those like old Billy the Kid sounds like one of those old west train robber. You know what I mean? Like Billy the Kid, it just sound, maybe it's what am I thinking of? The Sundance Kid? Am I having like the correct? Okay, yeah. I think I'm thinking of the Sundance Kid. He was an American cowboy outlaw and member of Butch Cassidy. Fucking Butch Cassidy. Yes. Okay. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That's the connection that I'm making in my brain. Yes. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That's fun. Someone in my family claimed that we were related to one of these people, and I can't remember who it is, but I do kind of want to look into it. I want to know my genealogy, but I don't want to do one of those horrific genetic tests where now somebody owns my genes. But I would do like a genealogy check. You must admit Jimmy can be a dick sometimes when he wants. Billy, maybe you don't know me. I'm also a dick sometimes when I want. So I'm not like judging Jimmy for that. Jimmy is more willing to be a dick than I am, but I'm still a dick. I call people fucking stupid on the show sometimes, right? You like there's a reason why we're friends. I do have to text him back though. When am I going to make time to I guess tomorrow. Jimmy mentioned once that if you would be okay with waking up as the opposite sex, you might be trans. And I was like, am I trans? Because I think I would be okay with it. But I also have OCD, and I think you mentioned that once, Lux, that people with OCD might question it, but not be trans. Someone told me that they were questioning whether they were trans, and they told me that they view it as an OCD thing and not that they really were having gender dysphoria. So that's just, somebody told me that. But I kind of disagree. I think if you wake up and you would be okay as the opposite sex, I think that you just are agender. Like, I think that that's just a person who doesn't have a strong feeling of gender and you don't care and you're just like, well, it is what it is. So I would disagree with that. But Jimmy's not trans and he's going to have wrong trans takes sometimes. And I think that that's fine. It's fine. From the first Bill and Ted movie where they go back in time to get historical figures to give their history report, Socrates, Billy, and Napoleon go to raging waters together. Okay. That does sound fun. Okay, that sounds fun. That's okay, Lux. It's part of the community. I don't mind because I can too, but if I do, I get a ban. Yeah, well, so the thing is, Billy the kid is the person, not Billy Sipes. Billy Sipes, you're cool. You're fine. Billy the kid, it does not fill me with a feeling of optimism about any future conversations with you that you're banned, but you seem to be planning to try to you're trying to circumvent the ban. Like you've stated earlier in chat that you're getting a voice changer set up, and like I think maybe you don't understand this. That's fucked up and not okay. If we ban you, we are setting a boundary as a company. We're saying we don't want to talk to you anymore. We don't think this conversation is fruitful. We think that you specifically are not worth having a conversation with, right? And you're saying, I'm going to try to get around that boundary so that I can get on there because I've got some real zingers I want to deliver. Like, it makes me think that you're actually a rapist or a stalker. And like, I'm not trying to say that to just be an asshole. Like, it makes me think that you fundamentally do not understand consent in a way that like you're actually a dangerous, scary person. And I don't want to talk to you now that I know that about you. Like, I don't think we've ever had a conversation, Billy. But now that I know that, I feel like I need to protect myself from you. And it's like, it makes me want to ban you from this chat. But I'm telling you this, and I'm giving you an opportunity because I think that you've never thought about that. Like, I think that you have never, ever considered in your life. And so I'm giving you an opportunity now to consider and to have a thing in your mind circulating on what it means about you as a person that you've been banned by the owner of the company. And you're like conniving to figure out a way to get on the show and to call us anyway. Like, why do you think that's okay? Like, why? I don't know, but it's upsetting to me. Jimmy being wrong? Never true, exactly, yeah. Low-key, I'd say there's a ton of agender people who will never even realize it, who just kind of go about their life. Yeah, I think they don't care. The only reason I was banned was because I didn't call in. Okay, so you're saying you got a chat ban. But why would you need a voice changer then? Why would you need to use a voice changer? Why would you need to use a voice changer? Y'all have an unban request thing too, right? You can email. Like, we've got an email, contact@Q&A line, if you want to try to appeal your ban. To be clear, Jimmy's the one who manages that email for the most part. So it's Jimmy's judgment.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I do think there probably are a lot more agender people than they realize. Thank you, Billy. Oh my gosh, $50 from Billy. Thank you so much. God, Billy, so generous. Who says, from every video I've seen with you, you are far less likely to get annoyed or frustrated with people than they amply deserve. You've been a lot more patient than me when I listen to some of these willfully ignorant people call in and be thick-headed. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I do feel like I try to keep it contained. So I do think that there is something to be said for, like, when I do finally bitch someone out, it's deserved, right? It's been well earned. Excuse me. But I think also that part of the reason why I'm able to have the level of patience that I do is because I'm 100% in the power move there. Like, okay, this is it's like kind of comparable, not exactly, but like, I adopted my younger sibling. They're a younger person who lives with me, and if there's ever been times where they catch attitude with me or something, I'm not bothered by that. Like, I'm not affected by that because they don't have any power in our dynamic. Or much less power, I should say. So it's kind of similar like I'm not entering into a power struggle with this teenager because I know what the score is and I don't feel the need to assert dominance. And so similarly when we have callers, I am in the position of ultimate control in that conversation. If I say stop talking, they have to stop talking, and if they don't, I will mute them. And if they're rude, if they call me a name, if they're disrespectful, I can just hang up on them and then I will never think about that person again. So I do think that something about having 100% of the power and having full control over a situation and full control over a conversation makes it just like a lot easier to be patient with even like a shitty call, because I just can be as fucked up and mean as I want to. And I don't feel the need to be super fucked up and mean, but like I'm allowed to engage. I am allowed to be as mean as I want to, which is nice. Kind of like there's something that's kind of appealing about that. And I did think like last week on Thursday, I think it was last week on Thursday.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Anime Sidekick Gal. I'll read that in a second. There was on Thursday last week, my partner got home while I was doing a call, or maybe it was the week before, but like my partner got home, and like my partner and I are in couples therapy. Like things are not great. But I'm never like fucked up to him in the way that I might be like behaving what to me feels like kind of fucked up toward a caller, you know? So I just thought it was really funny that somebody came in or like Deegan came home and could hear me talking from outside my office. And I was in the middle of telling a caller, like, I was like, if you could shut the fuck up for 10 seconds. And I was like, that must be so interesting from his perspective of like having had many, many conflicts with me and just like knowing that that is something I'm fully capable of. Like I'm fully capable of being like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear you talking anymore. And like raising my voice and like being mean. And like even when my partner has pissed me off to a point where like I think that that level of response could be deserved, I've still never done that. So I just think it's really interesting. It must be so fascinating to watch from an external perspective your partner, who is generally very kind and tolerant and cries when you're mad at them, kind of taking this totally different stance in a different context. I don't know. I haven't asked him what he thinks about it. I just imagine that it must be quite interesting. Anyway, thank you so much for the $10. I need to add both of those, the 50 and the 10, to the donation goal, and I will in a second. Anime Sidekick Gal, thank you so much for the $10, who says, I tell this to Jack all the time, but you deserve to hear it too. I am amazed by how much garbage you put up with. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It is annoying, but at least I don't have to do it every day. That's another thing. I've straight up been, what is that, 167? Yeah, because it was at 107. And then we got, yeah. So it's just really funny how, I don't know what I was in the middle of saying, actually. I completely lost what I was saying. Doing math, it just derails everything that's going on. I guess I'll put cat. I don't know. Flex? I don't know. Question mark. I don't know what I was in the middle of saying. I completely lost it. What are we doing? Why is Billy the Kid still in my chat? Billy, I'm sorry, let me scroll up. Was there any reflection about the idea of you being banned and still trying to get in? Can I ask Billy, are you a white man? Not Billy Sipes, I don't care. I mean, I'm not interrogating Billy Sipes today, but Billy the Kid, are you a white man? Because I think that white male voices are like not easy to tell apart, especially over the phone quality. I don't think anybody cares who you are or what you say on our show. And if you don't plan on saying anything fucked up, then why would it reflect badly on your reputation anyway? Billy is saying that they argued in chat and got banned for arguing without calling in. Yeah, no, that's normal. That happens. Yeah. We don't want you guys to like say confrontational stuff in chat. We want you to call in. The chat is not really for y'all to argue in. We maintain and manage the space for people to comment on the argument, but not to have arguments in the chat, if that makes sense. I'm gonna complain to Jimmy. I'm gonna put a crying face about having to cut my gym time short in the morning. Crying face. Okay, Fuzzy said that they just texted me on Discord. Oh my god. Where? Oh, I think this is the fuzzy logic. Okay, hold on. Oh, I see. The weird dono alert behind the thing. Okay, that was from a while ago. Sorry. Okay, I see you. Okay, I read your message, Fuzzy. Thank you. I've never met a bigot who liked to be called one or admitted to being one. That's true. They don't ever say. Quantum Chaos, hello. I can't remember what oh god, Quantum. Oh my god, it was you last night. Oh my god, this was so fucking like this was so funny that I texted my partner about it, and I don't normally feel the need to tell him about it. But okay, so last night during Chewed Gum, they were taking a call from honestly, okay, so here's the thing is that frankly, a lot of the time I just take my earbud out when I'm producing. Like you know, if I'm screening calls, I'm doing that through this earbud and not these earbuds anyway. But like, so I'll take out this earbud and I'll just be working on something else, or like I'll be in chat, like paying attention to chat or whatever, and not even listening. But last night I had my listening ears on, and I was listening to a call that Alyssa and Taylor had about, I don't know, it was spanning a number of topics, and I don't know. Excuse me, but oh my god, the burps. The guy briefly started to talk about masks and COVID. He kept saying C-19 as if it was like a bad word that he was trying to censor. Fucking weird. But he started trying to say some stuff about like, oh, well, they forced us to mask or whatever, dumb fucking whatever. And I wasn't active in the chat or anything, which is why this was so funny to me. But Quantum Chaos, I think it was you, who tagged me in the chat. And you were like, oh, I could feel Luxander's blood pressure going up from across the continent or something on this COVID conversation. And I was like, you are so right. I was like listening to it and I was like, I'm going to have to say something. I'm going to have to press my little producer button and get it. And like, I might have to correct some active misinformation because I don't think any of my hosts practice COVID precautions anymore. So yeah, literally, I thought that was so funny. You were like, Quantum was like, I'm so respecting of Lux's restraint, having to sit there and listen to this conversation about COVID. And I was like, no, you're right. Like my blood pressure slowly rising. It was so funny. Oh my God, it was so funny. The fact that it's not like I was active in chat, because if I've done that sometimes where I'm in the chat and I'm like, this is so stupid, and I'm making points that I would be making if I was hosting. I wasn't doing any of that. So it was very funny, and I felt seen. I was like, I feel seen right now. just, just really, really cracked me up. Thank you so much for that. Oh gosh. EpiPen says, I've got a vaginoplasty consult on Monday, 2 years in, and I'm blown away by how conflicted I am. But I think I've been seeing it wrong. I keep treating it like I have to deserve some upgrade, when really I'm just removing a weird, confusing thing from my body. How do people even deal with the cognitive dissonance? I'm not sure. Obviously it's a huge change. And if you're getting like a penile inversion vaginoplasty, then it's not just, oh, I'm getting this surgery. Like, you're going to not have something that you used to have, and then you're going to have something. But I know someone who very recently had vaginoplasty, and she's basically like, I waited a really long time to make sure that I was positively sure about this, and I wish I had done it sooner. She was like, with every aspect of my transition that I have been so cautious and sort of conservative in the approach about, every single aspect of her transition, she was like, I wish I had done it sooner. So I can't say that that's going to map perfectly onto your experience, but I would, like to suggest that it's likely, or even or just possible even, that you'll be like, oh, that was the right thing to do afterwards. And like, why did I even feel all that anxiety in the first place? But her healing has also been really, really easy. And that, maybe if your healing is not good, then you'll struggle a little bit more with the emotional aspect of it. But yeah, good results exist. Like, positive dispositions after surgery exist. Time42, thank you so much for your $5 donation. Says, shame should exist. Flat earthers, anti-vax, anti-evolution all exist in MAGA. That's a great point. And I appreciate that comment, 172, because, and I need to watch the video. I saw that Adam Conover just posted a video about AI, and I've just seen some discussion around it. And I think that one of the critical things is, like, even if, with regards to like AI writing your emails and things of that nature, even if you think that AI image generation is not bad, or like, oh, well, it's hurting the environment, but I drive a car and that's hurting the environment too, so like, fuck it, whatever, let's ball. Then there's a level of like, I just don't care about that, or like a disconnect from the impact of your actions that makes it feel like you can just do whatever you want. But something that Adam Conover said apparently in the video is that it's, at the end of the day, just rude, right? Like, if you're using AI tools to write emails, for example, and like, honestly, I do think that's one of the, if you have a stupid fucking corporate job, I don't care, use whatever, just use AI to write your emails, I don't fucking care. But there is a certain perspective that, okay, why would I bother to read an email that you couldn't be bothered to write? And why would I bother to write you an email that you are just going to have AI summarize for you? So you are not willing to either read or write in anything on this email exchange, and yet you expect me to do it. Like, it's like, you want me to reply to this email, but you're not even going to read the reply. You want me to read this email that you didn't even bother to write. It's rude. Seems to be the underlying message. And I think that that's very interesting to explore, that even if it's not having damage to the economy, like, I do think that there is some amount of like rudeness. Like, maybe that's part of why I was telling Jimmy this recently. We got done with our stream last week, which we discussed AI a lot. I was like, I actually do think that using AI for image generation is fucking loser behavior. And he was like, yeah, but you only think that because people commonly now associate it with loser behavior. And like, losers are the type of people who have commonly started to use that. And I think that it's actually because it's rude, in the way that like, you're stealing a bunch of shit off the internet to make some fake ass nonsense, like when you could just make a shitty graphic in fucking Photoshop. So it's like, it's rude because you're stealing shit from artists. And like, again, if you write a book with ChatGPT, I think, like, why the fuck would I bother to read something that you didn't even bother to write? And how rude that is to all of the, how rude that is to all of the people reading, or sorry, the people whose data was scraped in order to train the LLM to then write the book. Like, I do think that might be the fundamental thing. AI image generation is rude. AI use in this way is just rude. And so we should be employing shame. Like, I agree that we should be employing shame because it's fucking rude. And it's lazy, and like, there is something about the laziness of it too that, like, yeah, even if you did a shitty Photoshop, or it seems like there's a new popular thing of like badly drawn art that people have made that, like, even if it's relatively low effort, people are picking it up. Like, I would rather see a shitty stick figure drawing as the flyer for your event versus a polished AI created version of it. So yeah, I think that's like an interesting angle that I would like to try to hit that with Jimmy sometime. I don't know if it's ever going to happen on the show, but maybe off show if it's like, let's explore the feeling like it's rude that you would send me an email and expect me to read it and you weren't even bothered to write it in the first place. I refuse to use AI for anything artistic. I have Procreate and I'd rather make a shitty image myself or pay one of my artist friends if I need something nicer. Yeah. I usually use LLMs for stuff that it's like, I'm not going to be able to get a Google search result that answers my question. So sometimes I'll use ChatGPT for stuff like that. But how much to shame, parentheses, ban Billy. Thank you for the additional $2 super chat from Time42. I mean, I don't, I mean, y'all are really pressed about Billy the Kid, but Billy hasn't done anything in the chat that would make me ban him right now. I can see that he's just being active in the chat and that's kind of obnoxious to you guys. But I police my chat when, like, even if somebody comes in here and they have a swastika profile picture, I'll usually, like, fuck around with them for at least a few minutes before I ban them. So I don't have, like, mods in the chat who are, like, moderating things very actively. I think that corporate AI isn't just rude, it blatantly steals the work of others via increased power, water, health, and environmental costs that these AI companies are not paying for. We are. That's fair, I guess. Yeah, that ultimately you're not only stealing the labor of the artists who wrote the book or who made the art that the thing was trained on or whatever, but you're also stealing the labor of manual workers who are going to have to clean up the environment if it gets destroyed and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Plant, for the $9.99. That's very nice. Says, I remember that as a music major, they forced us to use Suno and put some of our original music into the website. The whole class was so gross and pro AI, it just made me sad. Yeah, it's hard because I work with people who do these things. But, like, I also think it's fucked up to use AI to generate music, and Jovan does that all the time. Like, I don't know where my limits are, where, like, I'll use ChatGPT sometimes. I feel guilty about it. I try not to do it very much. But, like, I don't feel at all guilty about driving my car. I don't feel at all guilty about the fact that I drive 20 minutes to go to a gym that I like, when I could I could walk to a gym closer to my house. But I absolutely would not ever use it to generate music. I would not ever use it to generate images. I have used GPT for certain things, like, oh, I'm in the middle of making a thumbnail and I want feedback on, like, is this communicating the idea that I think it's communicating or something? Or, like, what would be a better presentation of this idea and things like that. Or I'll feed, not so much anymore, but I used to feed GPT transcripts of my videos. And I would be like, can you help me figure out a title and thumbnail that would work for this video if this is the general vibe that I'm trying to describe? Because, like, honestly, I just fucking hate my job. But I don't do that as much anymore because it's like I feel weird about it and I don't know what my exact opinion is. But anyway, thank you so much for the donations. Let me go add that. It was $12 between those two donations. So $184 now. Thank you so much, everybody. I am not going to get any of this money until next month. So I do still encourage folks, if you have the ability to donate through my website, luxander.net/donate. I'll actually get that money sooner, but I'm about to get a YouTube payout anyway. What day is today? I'm going to get a YouTube payout early next week, so I'm going to do okay. Come back, chat. I miss you. There you are. I despise coming up with YouTube titles, but I'd never ask a robot to do it for me. Sure. Yeah, no, I understand. I've already all but told my students that LLMs make them dumber and they shouldn't use them, so I kind of feel like I extra shouldn't use it. Sure, you're setting an example. Totally. Yeah. So Fesh says, sometimes I'll use an LLM for asking specific coding questions because searching my question isn't bringing up results on Google, but then I still have to use my own brain to determine the correct answer because the LLM gives me a bunch of wrong shit and also maybe something correct somewhere in there. Yeah, I don't ever stop at the AI overview, if that makes any sense. I'm like, no matter what, I'm always thinking more about it and I'm processing it, and then I'll maybe even Google the same question that I put into GPT, or I'll read several articles about whatever the topic is. Yeah. And I feel like even when I have asked GPT to like generate YouTube titles, that's just like, oh, there's some ideas, and I still end up tweaking them, or I'll reword them slightly. I'm like, oh, okay, that one is good, kind of, but it's like it's not quite right, and I'll still end up tweaking those things and trying to come up with, like, it's never quite good enough what the AI model gives you. You're like, I'm still gonna like tweak this or improve it or something. So I do think even if you do use tools, then you should still engage your brain to the extent that it's possible for you to do that. Oh yeah, Miss Lady. It is very funny, though, that one Charlie Kirk tribute song is AI. That's just so perfect. That is funny to me, and that's been memeified. And I think it's funny when we all... I think it's funny when everybody in the chat is like, we are Jimmy Snow. Like, that's just funny to me. But of course, the most popular, Charlie Kirk media is AI generated. Like, of course, nobody was going to put any real human effort into memorializing that man. I only trust the online homework system that auto grades my students because it's literally the same one I had when I learned College Physics 1. Wow, that would have been a while ago, too. Like, you have your PhD and everything, so College Physics 1 must have been a while ago. You should only feel guilty for driving your car to the gym if you're not actively advocating for better public transportation / better gyms closer to you. I would say I am it's like, oh, duh, like that's one of the things that I support. But I don't really actively advocate for better public transportation. I mean, I live in fucking Oregon, so like public transportation is already pretty good. Obviously, when we get into conversations about trains and stuff, right? I'm from Kansas and I just moved to Oregon, so I have a lot of fucking thoughts about how we should have high-speed rail and how I should be able to just zip back to Kansas in one day on a high-speed train going 250 miles per hour. Like, I have strong opinions about that. But where I live, like, the bus system is relatively robust. I do kind of wish that it cost less or it was free, but it's it's like a private company or whatever. I think. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it that much. I don't need to use public transit. I have a car. My younger sibling uses public transit because they don't know how to drive. But yeah. So I guess I don't know. I mean, I'm. It's like if there's a question of should I feel guilty for driving my car to the gym because I'm not like a hugely active advocate for better public transportation. It's not like my main issue, although of course I want there to be more public transportation. And when it comes to having better gyms, I think every gym should have like a really, really tall ceiling. That's one of my main things. Like I think that we should have, part of the reason why I love my gym so much is because it has a really, really high ceiling, and it's a very big gym, and it's not cheap. And the time of day that I go, it's not very busy because I'm like, I'm trying to avoid COVID. And I also really fucking hate when you go to the gym and you're like, I'm doing this exercise followed by this exercise followed by this exercise. Like my leg day at the gym right now, I go and sit down and do calf press. Like I sit down at a machine and I do calf press. And then I go over to the leg curl machine and I do leg curls. And then from the leg curl machine, I go over to the leg press to do my quads and glutes. And there is nothing fucking worse than being like, okay, I'm done with one exercise and I'm ready to move into the next one. And the only machine in the entire building that allows you to do that particular exercise is occupied. Girl, it like grinds everything to a halt. And then you're like, okay, well, I don't want to lose my pump, so I guess I'll go do the fucking leg press first then. But then it feels like it throws your whole shit off. And then I'm like, okay, well, I wasn't like warmed up enough to do the leg press. So now I'm fucking... Why is a high ceiling good? Better air quality. Good question. So the reason why a high ceiling is better for what I'm trying to avoid is I don't want to get sick. I wear an N95 anytime I leave my house. I'm not trying to get sick. But if you're in close quarters with people who are sick, then you can still get sick even if you're wearing a mask. So air is a liquid, or rather it's a fluid. Air is a fluid. It follows fluid dynamics. So if you, so if you have like a Tupperware, like let's say you have a Rubbermaid with a lid. Okay, if you pour water into the Rubbermaid, the water is going to stay at the bottom of the Rubbermaid, and it's going to fill the volume of the space at the bottom, and then it's going to be like flat on top. If you were to fart in that Rubbermaid, similarly to the water, like the water doesn't just stay in a ball or a cylinder in the middle of the Rubbermaid because it's like flowing and then filling the volume of its container. So air similarly fills the volume of its container, but it can go up as well, right? So if you put a fart in a Rubbermaid, then what's going to happen is the fart is going to evenly distribute itself throughout the volume of the container. So if you are out in public and if someone farts in a small room, then the fart fills the whole volume of the room in a relatively short time, and then you have to sit there with it, right? But if you go into a gymnasium, like a basketball court, and you fart, or somebody farts, it fills the volume of the space in a way that's like if you were standing right next to the person, you might smell it, but then it continues to expand to fill the volume of the space, and then you don't have enough fart particles in the air to smell them, right? So, yes, yay for fart diffusion. So basically my logic in I like gyms that are big and open and have tall ceilings because if people are sick or farting or whatever, then that is expanding to fill the volume of the space, which means that I might come into contact with less COVID if somebody is actively sick, because people do go to the gym actively sick. It's fucked up. I don't know why they do that, but even if they weren't actively sick, COVID spreads a lot during the pre-symptomatic phase. So yeah, basically I like a big, tall, open space because I am not trapped in a small area with everybody's germs, right? You've seen people like blow out thick clouds of vape and how it just kind of hangs in the air if there's not like active air movement, and it's really gross. Yeah, so anyway. Yeah, or if somebody's like stinky and sweaty from working out, then it's like diffusing in the air in a way that is less, you know, impactful on you as a person who's working out next to that person. My favorite gyms are climbing gyms because it's full of hipsters and lesbians. I need to check that again and put it on my list of like places I want to visit with my partner, because we had a climbing gym where we were from, but now that we've moved, we haven't been climbing since we got here, and I would really love to do it again because I love bouldering. It's so fun. Farticles, exactly. This also assists with circulation of air due to convection working with forced air systems. Sure, yeah, the more space there is for the hot air to rise and the cold air to fall. Yeah, I could imagine that helping with like the fluid dynamics of the whole air situation. Me looking at China and Japan's rail like Wolverine holding that picture of Jean Grey. I did AP Physics for college, Physics 1 and 2 in like 2010. Jeez. I've only been bouldering once, but I had a blast. 10 out of 10 recommend. Yeah, absolutely. Totally. Is the gym creepy, wet, or fart? That's fun. I think the gym that I found manages to not be any of those three, which is wonderful. It's quite nice. Maybe it's creepy in the afternoon when I don't go there. Most of my exercise is done either running in public or working with weights at home. Gyms kind of gross me out. Yeah, I don't have space to work out at home. I don't think that there's really meaningfully a space in my home that is bigger than the width of a hallway to work out at, which is a problem. And it's a problem that needs to be fixed. And it's a problem that probably won't be able to be fixed until my younger sibling moves out. Because we have about the same amount of space as we ever did, and we added another person to it. Oh, YouTube, why are you doing this to me? Is it because I was talking about penis earlier so much? I was talking about penis too much? Yeah, I guess so. Okay, come back. Come back. Baby, come back. Thank you, oh my gosh, for 150 likes on the video, you guys. That's so sweet. Thank you. Y'all are absolutely losing your minds in the YouTube chat. I was kind of thinking about interacting with some of what's going on over there. The equation for drag applies to any fluid, be it water or air. You know what's really interesting, Viren, is like I was just Googling last night and thinking about how I was like, wait. Okay, so actually what was happening is I was in my Timberborn. Okay, hold on. We're gonna have a little fun show and tell about this. Because I was playing a video game that uses fluid dynamics physics in order to accomplish the whole game. So we're gonna, if you haven't seen this before, I'm at like a very advanced level with this particular game file that I'm on. And okay, hold on, we got music. Let's get in. Okay, just for the sake of example, to explain where my thought process was last night. Hold on, I'm gonna actually switch back to this for a second while that's loading in. There we go. Oh, wait, why are we Timberborn? Okay, here we go. Okay. Here we go. So this is a game where you create a little civilization for beavers, okay? And we're at a very advanced level in this game. You can tell, do you like my apartment complex? Isn't that great? I'm building the wonder of the world right here. Anyway, that's not what we're here to discuss. What we're here to discuss is this area. So I have this water wheel right here, okay? And it generates power when the river is flowing, right? And whoa, why is it feeding back reverse? Why is it doing, whoa, hold on. Why are you doing that? That's not desirable. Why are you doing that? Okay, we'll deal with that later. I'm like, why is it flowing back? It should be flowing. Oh, because we're in a drought. Okay, duh, that's why. Okay, great. Wait, are we in a drought? No, the water just started flowing again. I'm losing it a little bit. Okay, ADHD is killing me right now. But anyway, so I've got this area where what I was wanting to do is I wanted to deepen some of the water in this area so that when we have a drought, I can have more water retained there, okay? So I did, that's what this area is down here, is I placed some dynamite and I blew it up so that it would be deeper. And so now, I was kind of contemplating this. I was like, could I also blast this? Because you can already see what I've done here is I've placed these blocks to restrict the flow of water in an attempt to increase the speed at which this was my very first power wheel in this game. So I was attempting to increase the speed of this by increasing the water pressure by narrowing this canal as the water, these buildings are built on top of the water, to be clear. So that's what's going on. The water is passing underneath and it's coming through here and it's, you know, so I restricted the flow here to try to increase the water pressure. And I was wondering if I were to, you know, use dynamite to detonate this and make it slightly deeper, would that impact the water pressure? Like, would the current be faster down underneath, or like what the deal was? So anyway, that was the justification for why I was trying to figure out where a river is fastest. Because I was thinking of it in terms of like water pressure. So like above the water, there's no there's nothing like stopping the water. Like if the water needs to rise, it can just rise. You only have the level of air pressure, which is not like a lot. My thought process was, okay, you've got this like skinny waterway and it's pushing the water faster by restricting it into a smaller space. And so my thought process was the bottom of the riverbed is also a hard surface that's putting pressure on the water from this direction, kind of. And so my thought process was like, wait, is the current actually faster underneath the surface of the water? Because on the surface of the water, there's nothing pressing the water to make it go faster. But it turns out that the biggest, I don't even need to be in here anymore, the biggest impact on the speed of water in that situation, in the way that I was thinking of it, was in fact drag. So a river, if you look at, or if you take a cross section of like a pipe or a canal or a river or whatever, actually the fastest part of the river or the waterway is in the middle and near the top. Because what is slowing down the water in that situation is the drag and the friction on the sides and the bottom. Like the bottom of the riverbed has a lot of rocks and like uneven surfaces, so it's actually being slowed down quite a lot on the edges and the bottom. And then it's like this, if you look at like the water is like this area right here, right beneath the surface of the water in the middle, is the fastest current. So I learned something about fluid dynamics last night. Damn, your town looks awesome. I tried Timberborn and it's pretty sick, but I let half my beavers starve during a drought. I have had countless different files and tried numerous different things with Timberborn, and this recent file is, I think, the one that I've taken the furthest. But it's a lot of fun. It's good stuff. New update was teased about adding water pressure to Timberborn. Right, I did just see that there's like a Timberborn 1.1 is now live on the experimental branch. I've been playing this game for years, and it only just technically fully released. Like, I bought this game years ago, and I've been essentially playing it in beta or live experimentation stuff. Oh my god, Billy, are you having a full crash out in the YouTube chat? Not Billy Sipes, the other Billy. It's a lot of trial and error, like any good city builder. Yeah, you have to learn, like, what are the things you need to do first? What's the number one thing you need to do? And there is kind of like a tutorial phase where you try and fail a bunch, and then you finally are like, okay, well, every time I need to get this first, and if I forget this, then I'm gonna be fucked when the first drought happens and what have you. Yeah, these are, I like these kind of games. So okay, what's happening? Somebody catch me up. What's happening in the YouTube chat right now? Billy Sipes says, to be fair, I am having a bit of a crash out. Okay, what are we talking about? Somebody catch me up and I'll give you my opinion. Jeff says, I've called the line several times on things I disagreed on, and guess what? I managed to not say things a horrible person would say. It's not that hard. I don't get it. Okay, true. Wait. Okay, so I think I heard about this. Somebody called Matt Dillahunty from their work phone, and they said something off the cuff, like out of pocket. I don't know what was said exactly. I suspect that it was slurs, because I don't know why else Matt Dillahunty would follow up and be like, this is your business, and I'm going to tell people about the fucked up thing that you said. Is that the whole thing? Is that what happened? That someone, like, using their business phone called us and said something fucked up. Can we... Apparently, Matt, quote, doxed someone, which doesn't mean doxing, but it means calling from a business account trying to say the N-word. Okay, so somebody called from their business phone saying the N-word and then left a negative review on the business account. I mean, okay, and this is fitting into a conversation about doxing. Like, if you call from your personal phone, we don't dig in and try to find where you work. But if you're like calling from a business phone and that's the business phone number that's advertised on your business, that doesn't feel like doxing to me. But also, if you don't want your behavior to reflect badly on you professionally, I mean, just keep it separate, right? Just keep it separate. Is there something complicated about like making a point to make a separation between your professional behavior and your business versus your personal time and calling in? Because if it's like, oh, this person was rude to me. Okay, because I worked at a company. You guys know that I used to be an electrician and a solar installer. And at one point, someone called our business because one of our installers or somebody was driving in one of our company vehicles, and they basically navigated an intersection in an unsafe way, right? So because that person navigated an intersection in an unsafe way, and maybe there was even like somebody yelled out their window or something like that. So you're doing that on your business time in your business vehicle, representing the business. You're not really representing yourself in that situation. You're representing the business. And if like somebody called us and the company was like, yeah, we're going to correct this issue. We're going to talk to our drivers and make sure that everybody's driving safely. But that person would have been justified in leaving our company a bad review for that. Like, I think that would have been justified, right? So if you are operating in your business capacity in that same way, where basically functionally you're calling us and the label that you're calling us with, the phone number, like one of the very few pieces of information we have is your business, then you are acting as a representative of your business in that capacity in the same way that you would be if you were driving the company vehicle. So I don't think actually that is Matt having done something bad. Like, someone who works at your company treated me like shit and used the N-word, and I'm going to leave a bad review. And he wouldn't have been able to do that if the guy who called wasn't using his business as his identity. Does that make sense? I love limiting path length by using verticality. You can create a giant dam slash hive structures with interwoven paths, giving short paths into a bunch of needed district buildings with limited land use. Yeah, that is one of the fun things about Timberborn. He wasn't calling in under business capacity just because it's a business phone number, which can also be a personal phone too. No, it actually can't, Billy the Kid. I can tell that you're not a business owner. I am a business owner. I don't get to use my personal phone and say that's my business phone number, like from a tax perspective. Yeah, Billy Sipes says, if I go to HEB here in Texas and the guy at the deli counter calls me a slur, like I'm gonna leave a bad review. Exactly. I gotta admit, I have never once followed up on a caller who used a slur and tried to check out their phone number or anything. So like that part of the behavior on Matt's part, I don't really understand. But like, I think saying like this person who works for this company was shitty to me, and even if it's on their personal time, you're still like, again, it's very much like the, because here's the thing, Billy the Kid, you could be technically using the if you own your own business, if you're an electrician and you own your own business, you could be driving around your company truck, and the truck, you're on your personal time, but the truck has the label on the side that says this is the name of my company. And so even if you're on your personal time and you're not working, if you yell a slur out the window, I think it makes sense for that person to leave a bad review on your company. Like, I don't know. I don't really understand what the problem is that you have. And also, doxing typically means that you took information that is mostly private and you made it public. Like if you dig in and you find out somebody's real name and then you publish their real name and you also publish their address and stuff, like Matt didn't make any of that information public to my understanding. So doxing is not an appropriate term to use, but I'm just kind of going off of details from chat right now and like having seen Matt post about it on Facebook. I think it's really funny that the website chat has just kind of slowed completely down, but the YouTube chat is still bumping. Yeah, Billy says, I would absolutely warn anyone against someone who owns a company who is a racist to make sure that people do not do business with them, and that they might be a piece of shit afterwards. Or they might be a piece of shit toward them. It's not a hard concept. I see your point, Lux. The whole point was the info was used from the phone call. That was my original point. But like I said, if you call in from your business phone, it's very easy to it's like you are it's the same thing as driving around in the company car. You're using the label of the company in your communications. The phone number, if it's listed as the official phone number for your business, then it is a business behavior that you're doing, kind of. Does that make sense? I don't know. And all he did was leave a complaint. So I'm not a lawyer, but I figure there would be some solid liability issues that come into play if a business line is used for threatening language. Yeah. And I don't know if the language was threatening per se, but I don't know. What's going on? I've been spiraling about bottom surgery for the past 30 minutes. I think I should try to get it again. Yeah, if you have good insurance and stuff, I think it's worth checking into. I've been contemplating myself. Like, do I have to get back on hormones in order to access surgery? I don't know. I have to talk to my fucking doctor. I think Pizzotl is saying, are you saying that the person who used the N-word described the situation saying because of political or other disagreements to describe using the N-word on calls, which is creepy cover talk? I mean, that's true. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think don't it would be like if somebody used their LinkedIn to say racial slurs. And it's like, okay, but I can see who you work for like right there. I don't know. And does anyone even know who the person is or what the business actually is? Like has at this point there been made a connection publicly where now people know who that guy is and what the business was and stuff? Like cuz that you could make a more of an argument that it's doxing. Like did Matt Dillahunty go take a screenshot of the guy's business and then post it on his public Facebook page? Cuz like that might be different than just being like, I went to there and I left a comment saying that this guy used a racial slur.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not doxing if you're not publicizing information that was previously private. So if Matt Dillahunty was like, I found your business and I left a comment on it, and I didn't take a screenshot of your business and make it public, and I didn't publish your phone number, and I didn't tell anybody what your name is, and I didn't say, hey, everybody, you should go review bomb this guy as well, then I'm not really seeing what the problem is. So I'm just trying to chill after a rough day. My brain is swimming, so not much to say. Yes, you made lyrics by accident. Good job. Drew says, we're only so many degrees away from all of your interactions online being public information anyway, so it doesn't really matter what Matt did. True. Okay, sure, but point is info was used. I don't know why you care about that. Like, and like you realize, okay, so I want to also point out Matt didn't have to go digging for the info. The guy called in from that number. So, like, I do not know what your problem is.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of a lot of emotional effort going into this topic, at least for what is warranted. Sure, but I'm at the end of the stream anyway. We're only going to be here for another like 10 minutes. So I was just kind of like, let's flesh it out. They're lots of conversation in the chat, so I figured I shouldn't just completely ignore it. And I'm not yet annoyed enough with Billy the Kid to ban him, even though some of y'all want me to. So if you want to manage your chat by blocking that person, that has nothing to do with me. Thank you again, Billy. Jiminy Christmas. You're so generous, and I love that. Thank you so much. Important to point out that Matt did not publicize the person's name, the number, the business, or anything like that. He just left a review saying the person is a hateful bigot because he is a hateful bigot. It is not doxing. Yeah, exactly. For Matt to say, this business owner was hateful toward me, even if it wasn't in the capacity of their business, and I would recommend that y'all who don't want to be treated that way don't do business with that person. So, like, I don't know what your problem is again. $50 super chat means we get to see the cat that apparently chose violence today. No, she's not in here anymore. And I did put flex ? As the answer, as the second follow-up. So we'll do that again. Oh, I'm really not working out my forearms at all. I'm working on shoulders. Like that's my thing now. I don't know. We're trying to like, here, let's see. How do I haven't figured out how to flex this. I guess that's me flexing my shoulder, but I have like a decent amount of like fat and stuff here, so it doesn't really, I don't know. Hold on. Ah, my chair is spinning. You can see that there's muscle under there. It's just kind of, I'm still working on body recomp, so I'm also working on my back muscles, like my back and my shoulder muscles here. I really want to have like a really good looking upper back. That's kind of like my aesthetic goal right now, is to have really nice upper back muscles. So that's kind of my main focus. But thank you for the donations. Give me an opportunity to. Yeah, I gotta make sure the safety's on. Make sure. Anyway. I also wonder if something that we're running into in I think something maybe we're running into in the chat here might be we're getting caught up on the specific word choice. So when Jimmy says, we don't do anything with your information, or we don't use your information, what he means usually is to say, like, we're not going to call you back, or we're not going to like hunt you down, or like I think in particular he means we're not going to publicize this information. Like, I think that's the main thing that he's saying when he says we don't use caller info. He's like, we're not going to publicize this. I don't know, maybe like it would have to be a conversation between Jimmy and Matt, I guess, if Matt's behavior is in line with what Jimmy thinks about maintaining that policy of like, well, we don't do anything with your information. We're not like keeping it, we're not publicizing it or anything like that. So I don't know. Like, I wonder if we're getting hung up a little bit. I was like, I actually never have asked, what is Jimmy's opinion on if somebody calls us from their job and identifies themselves as an employee of a certain company? Like, is it against policy for the hosts to anonymously leave a review in a way that does not weaponize our audience against that person? Like, I really would doubt that Jimmy gives a shit if Matt leaves functionally an anonymous review. And we didn't publicize the information. I mean, it seems like the phone number was public anyway, but we didn't say, hey, this is this guy, go get him. Like, that's kind of what doxing is. Doxing is a form of stochastic terrorism. I don't know if you're aware, but like, doxing is basically like, oh, well, whatever, this information was public, and I just took the information that was already public, like how technically, your home address, if you have a home loan, can be public in a certain way, like it's in a database or whatever. I've known a couple people who've had their address doxed because of that type of thing. So like, and I know some people who are like, my house is in my husband's name so that my name doesn't show up in that kind of, so that my address isn't sensitive in that way. But doxing is a form of stochastic terrorism where you take information and you then make it public to an audience who wants to hurt that person. Like, that's what doxing is. It's a form of stochastic terrorism. It is not like I personally left a review separate from my role in this company, and I am not telling my followers or any of the followers of this company to go find that person. Lux, within these last 10 minutes, will you address the question on everybody's mind? Why should people tune in to see Meffy on Takis tomorrow? Is it because she's so awesome and cool and humble? The people want to know. I mean, you should tune in to Takis tomorrow because I'm going to be there, and Mama Meffy is going to be there, and I've never done a show with Meffy or watched her debate anyone, so I get to see it, and you get to see it, and it's going to be fun. Meffy's been on before, so y'all can go watch. I'm just a bad I'm a bad employee, so I don't watch the shows when I'm not actually there. But yeah, you should come and watch and hang out with us. And I'm gonna tag in the Discord channel, and you'll be able to see us taking calls and stuff. Sometimes when we have a guest on, we don't get as many callers, but that's just because like there's not as much pull as when people are like, oh fuck yeah, it's Lux and Josie again, let's go. But I think it's still gonna be a fun time. I'm looking forward. I think it's still gonna be a fun time. I know, Lux on Takis. Ah! Byron says something really important, and Billy, I want you to hear this. Billy the Kid, I want you to hear this. I have a really hard time caring, given the current state of the world, about someone receiving social consequences for their shitty behavior. Honestly, maybe we need a little bit more of that, and maybe we should have been doing it for longer than what we're doing now. Like, I think that's a good point. Like, why would I get all in a tizzy about someone having social consequences, and probably pretty limited social consequences? Again, we're talking about one negative review on this person's business from someone who had a conversation with the business owner or whoever, like, I don't know if he owns the business or whatever, but you know what I mean? Just, yeah, call from your fucking personal phone number and don't say where you work, and then we'll never know. It's like brazen, you know? If you commit a crime while driving the vehicle that has your business name printed on it, it's like brazen. You're almost saying like, haha, come and find me, bitch. Like, if you call us and you say the N-word and you're calling from your work phone number, it's brazen. Like, you think you can get away with anything. You think you can just do what you want and it doesn't matter. And like, no, it turns out you can't just use your business phone number to say racist shit, because then people are going to very easily find you and expose you as a racist. Yeah, apparently nowadays all it takes to get fired from your job is to be accused of being trans. Lux and Jack, one of the best duos. I think that makes perfect sense that y'all feel that way, because Jack and I have a lot of audience crossover. There's lots of people who watch both of us. So... Okay, I do not have to do this Jimmy thing tonight. I will do it tomorrow. Crawdad's Knees, that's a great username. Yeah, that's a great point. Crawdad's Knees says, we've heard a lot about how wrong it was that this person's livelihood was attacked, but I'm very curious that we heard nothing about how wrong it was for him to say the N-word on the call in the first place. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, especially because it's really easy nowadays to just get a Google Voice phone number. Like, I have very little sympathy for a dumbass who actually called using their work phone. You're stupid and entitled. I saw a post that said, maybe y'all should stop worrying so much about whether black people know that you're a safe white person to be around, and start worrying more about making sure that white people know that you're not a safe white person for them to be racist around. And I think that that's a good point. Crawdad's Knees is an anagram of cards and weeks. Made this year near my 52nd birthday. Made this near my 52nd birthday. Hell yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't suggest a payphone. Obviously, I think, okay, Billy the Kid, if you cannot understand that someone telling you to use a payphone is using a slight form of exaggeration, I don't know what, I don't think we're going to have a good time talking to you. Like, obviously, for the like, people don't mean literally a payphone because they're not very common, and I don't expect you to actually stand in public for 30 minutes having this conversation. Obviously, they just mean use a different phone number. Video is gone, or is it just me? Video shouldn't be gone, but I am going to be leaving momentarily anyway. Oh, my nose is itchy. Yeah, I think part of why we picked up Mama Mephi for host duties or co-host guest co-host duties is like because of your in-person activism, right? Like you're protesting and testifying, and there was like a video of you testifying that kind of popped off, and I was even like, wait, is this you? And I saw it on a different platform, that it was not your upload. So yeah, that you started kind of picking up your own steam and your own momentum. Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, anyway, okay, my voice is tired and I have to go chill, and then I have therapy later. So, whoa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Time, with another $2 donation, who says, Chatters, block Billy the Kid. He's an NPC. Yeah. Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah, listen, if you use a voice changer, you're not going to beat the accusations that you're a bot. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. So, all right. Well, everybody, I love you. And I'll see you. Well, if you come around and for Takis tomorrow, I'll be on with Mama Mephi. It's gonna be a great tag team time. And then I've got fucking Call-In Studio, not Call-In Studio. I'm calling it now. When I'm gonna be on with, I think, Jimmy tomorrow afternoon. So you'll see me plenty tomorrow, and then I won't see you again until, I don't actually even know if I'm going to be streaming next Wednesday, because a lot of the time on Wednesdays, like the last Wednesday of the month, we do our production meeting. So I don't actually even know if I'm going to be available to stream next week. But also Arden is still out, and I don't know if she's going to come back for our meeting. So I don't know how Jimmy wants to do the schedule this month. So I don't know. Anyway, I may or may not be here next week on Wednesday. Long story short. So yeah, wish me luck out in the world. I didn't even talk to you about my failed attempt to get diagnosed with a connective tissue disorder this week. I don't even want to get into it. Anyway, much love, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.